You know the fucking vibes. Today on the Litty Show, we have the miraculous business owner, the real one, Mr. Alex Montanez. I gotta no, I don't speak Spanish. Say your last
Yo,
name for me.
listen, yo, I tell everybody, yo, my last name is Martinez, man, so they don't butcher it.
You dead ass tell people.
100%,
No,
dog.
say it right. Say it right. Say it right. Alex.
Martinez.
Nah.
Yo,
I say Montanez.
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 Yes, Montanez. Like
Montanez.
Andy Montañez, like the singer. You know what I mean?
I don't.
Yeah.
So fun fact about me. I'm
You,
like your pops. I'm Puerto Rican. I don't speak Spanish.
nah, dog,
Yeah,
that's
I was fucked.
crazy.
I was
dog.
fucked. The only thing is I didn't have the Colombians to teach me Spanish. Nobody taught me Spanish. um, Alex, thank you for coming through today.
It's all love, my
I
brother,
appreciate
man.
you, bro.
It's a pleasure, man.
Appreciate you. I know we've been working on this for a while. Um, talking about Puerto Ricans, talking about Colombians. Let's jump straight into it.
You know, a lot of people don't even know I'm Puerto Rican, right?
I do. I do my homework.
Yeah. a lot of people just think I'm full Colombian, 100%. Yeah.
So not a lot of people know that you're Puerto Rican, and I'm assuming that less people know that your dad's Puerto Rican, but he didn't speak Spanish.
In the beginning, my father originally. Well, the thing is, in New York, bro, everybody's New Yorican. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you speak Spanish, it's very rare. It's chopped up, and it's very with the R and the cajo and shit like that. You know what I mean? It's Americanized Spanish. But my father actually spoke Colombian as fuck, bro. Colombian. Like, there's a story, bro. One time, my dad was telling these people that no, bro, I'm Puerto Rican, and they started laughing at him. And in Colombia, they were like, man, fuck out of here, Colombian. He's like, bro, I'm Puerto Rican, but my dad's Colombian was proper, super Colombian, yeah.
So talking about it, your mom was
Is
is
Colombian,
clean cut woman, going to college, funded by her brothers,
by the family.
Yeah. Dad was, as they say, from the barrio, rough, around the edges,
come from nothing,
come for nothing.
A hustler, was out on the street as an early age. My father had the odds against him, you know.
She hit me hard when I found out, and I heard you say that your father at one point was living with his dad, and he lost and got kicked out of his house because they made room for a dog.
So let me tell you that story. I'll tell you that shit in my hair stand up. Before my father took me to Puerto Rico.
Mm-hmm.
My dad's dad, his original dad, not the one that raised him.
Right.
Original dad wasn't even black, bro. It was purple.
Mm-hmm.
When my father took me to go meet him, and when I went to go meet him, I remember he didn't even want to look at my dad in the face. This is a story I've never told nobody. I don't even think my wife knows the story.
Mm.
And I was young, but I remember this shit like it was yesterday. My father took me over there, and it was on a mountain in Puerto Rico. And my father went over there pretty much to tell him, look, I made it as a man. I never needed you.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I just want you to meet, you know, your grandson. Just wanted to give my son the respect to meet you, but I've never needed you, the whole thing. And I remember he didn't even want to turn. He gave us his back the whole time. He turned around maybe for like 2 minutes, and it was to let us out the house. Yeah, it was some real shit. And my father was like, I never needed you. But, you know, one thing, you know, it's crazy because I got back with my high school sweetheart.
Mm-hmm.
I was in prison when my father died.
It's a blessing.
Yeah, that's my high school sweetheart, man. So the way life works, man, I feel that when my father died, she was by my dad's dying bed.
Oh shit.
With my mother. You know what I mean? And they didn't let me out of prison because my co-defendant, the person who ratted, thought that if I got out, I was gonna put a hit or something was gonna happen to him.
Right.
Bro, I had a cell phone in prison. My whole prison bed, I had a cell phone, bro.
Right.
You know, New York shit, man. You know what I mean? I had a cell phone. If I wanted him touched, he would have been touched a long time ago.
Right.
But it was fucked up, bro. The story with my dad, I was actually calling from the cell phone, and the story, I see my dad, bro. My dad was like Superman, bro. My dad, there's nothing, bro. Like, my dad caught some shit that what's that shit? Was it emphysema? He caught some shit. He was turning purple, bro.
Oh, so
this was years ago. No, this was years ago. He caught some shit, bro, that I showed up to his house in New York. Matter of fact, it was upstate New York. I don't know if you ever heard of Ellenville.
No,
Ellenville is like it's like the overtown of Miami, but in New York.
in New York.
Yeah, it's like a suburb.
Right.
And I went to go see my dad, and my dad was in bed, and my dad was like, "Yo, you turning purple." Now I remember me and my dad's cousin, we took him to the hospital. They were like, "Yo, he was dying." And my dad came out of that shit like nothing. Like 3, 4 days later out the hospital. Like I never my dad in my mind he was
He was
bro,
resilient.
Iron Man,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah,
My
yeah.
father, man, definition of a warrior for sure.
So we're gonna get into your father. I don't want to go too deep because then we're gonna spoil the
right,
interview.
right.
Born in Brooklyn, raised in Colombia. Um, you stood in
No,
no,
my father's from the Bronx. My
no. I'm
fam.
talking about you.
Oh, me, I'm from Brooklyn.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
born in
was
Brooklyn.
born in Brooklyn. When I was born, I think I was
You know where in
like
Brooklyn?
East New York. I'm from Myrtle.
Okay, I used to live in Utica and Eastern Parkway
Okay,
for a little
okay.
bit, not too long.
But we lived in Bushwick. You know the crazy part about it. I'm from Brooklyn, but a lot of my family's from the Bronx.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
where I was raised.
yeah, right next to Jimmy's
Okay,
and Fordham and shit like that. You
okay.
know, I have a lot of family still in Bathgate and all that.
Um, the reason why you left Colombia is because you were kidnapped in Colombia.
That was one of the stories. One of the stories. The main thing. Um, I don't know if you know, bro. You did your homework,
Mhm.
so fucking you did your homework. But when we got kidnapped in Colombia,
So let's talk about it. Let's
you
get
wanna you,
because you're making it sound too light. You like when I got it's like when I caught a flat. Like no. Let's talk about it. Like you were kidnapped in Colombia. Like
right?
how did like you know?
You know, I remember that shit. Like my girl could tell you, man. I got an elephant memory, dog. I
Yeah.
remember shit from like 15, 20 years ago.
What age was this?
When this shit happened, I was 9 years old.
9.
I was
And was
nine.
it like you're riding the bus, you're coming home,
Well,
they cut you off? Like what was the deal?
it's crazy because me and Michael Corleone were talking
Shout out
about
to
this.
Michael.
Shout out to Mikey. Me and Mikey were talking. Mikey has a similar story. We all went to the same school,
Mm,
so it was like a narco school.
right.
Michael Corleone went there. Everybody, like the president of Colombia's son, went to that school.
Right.
Like they taught us English. You know what I mean? Like every kid there had a security guard, a bodyguard, a driver. It was like in Colombia, everybody lived in El Poblado. El Poblado, like Star Island. You
Mm,
know what I mean?
mm, mm,
And that's how the elite in Colombia, all the kids know each other. You
right.
know what I mean? Um, we they had been there was wars. There was wars with power. This is Pablo was still alive. Everybody was still alive. Griselda, all the key players were alive. We were just a major part. We were a major. We were like if this was the Italian mob, I want to say that we're like Gotti, and what was Gotti's family?
Don't make me lie to you on that. Like I wasn't good with those mafia stories.
I'm gonna tell you right now the
Gotti and
Gotti's family. There's the Banano family. Um, there's so many families, but Gotti's family is like the
the
original
one.
family.
Right.
They're like the family.
Right.
Now there's and it's like anything in Colombia. There's a lot of powerful families, but there's families that are powerful beyond that. Colombia at that time was ran by like 10 family, and that was Pablo, Los Ochoas, my
It's
godfather,
like America with the
with the
Rockefellers and yeah,
Rockefellers.
right.
Yeah, there's people
Okay.
making money and there's people making moves,
Right.
but there's levels to this shit. You know what I mean?
Elites. Let's say that word.
There's
The
elites.
elites.
You know
The
what I mean?
elites. Yes.
You know. So we were one of those families, and God bless the dead. My uncle was very what's the correct word? Uncle just didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
My uncle was just
We don't need to have a correct word. He didn't give a fuck.
he really just
Wrong.
didn't give a fuck.
Wrong.
And at that time, so they were trying at that time to extort gangsters.
Oh, okay.
To the so la guerrilla over here it's a paramilitares are like, all right, there's guerrilla, there's militant groups that they kidnap people for ransom.
Mm.
So they were kidnapping instead of government people, they were kidnapping certain people who had money. That school was a gold mine because everybody in that school was a somebody.
They must have really been like animals to be not have no fear of doing something.
Bro,
like that.
listen, when I tell you that school maybe had not even 500 kids, but I remember the classes were like 11, 12 kids, bro.
But with those kind of reputations of all those children, these
Right,
guys really had to be not all there or really that hungry.
bro. Listen, when there's I'm gonna go back to this, but the people that kidnapped me, they were like a guerrilla.
Mm-hmm.
They were like a militant group,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Even at a young age, I have my cousin Brian. There's a lot of us. There's a lot of. It's not just me. In the Colombian cartel and the cocaine cowboys, there's only a few of us that I'm not a cocaine cowboy, but it's in my bloodline.
Right. Right.
This gangster shit's hereditary.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm not saying that I'm a cocaine cowboy, none of that. But bro, I saw las caletas, I saw the bread, I saw real shit. That's why, like I sit here and I look at shit and I'm like, these dudes think they're selling work. They're selling a few ounces.
Right.
They're like,
Right.
this ain't work, bro.
Right.
Like,
Right.
there's a story, dog, that I was a kid and I was playing with a treasure chest. And I said, that's the first time I touched the key. I had a treasure chest full of G.I. Joes and little armies. And there was like 20 kilos in there, bro.
Right. Right.
And I walked out to the living room with like 15 keys in my hand. You know what I mean? That's work. Not
Right.
these niggas now that grab a key and make 5 out of them. And it's fucking more baking soda than coke.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Fentanyl.
Fentanyl and all this bullshit. So, you know, I see here, with all due respect, bro, I don't knock nobody's hustle, bro, but the ones that invented this gangster shit was my family. Was Jorge Ochoa, which is my godfather, my uncle, which is Rafa. You know, then there's stories that Griselda, all due respect to Michael Corleone, she was one of the key players. It's like talking about LeBron, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson. You have so many
Kobe.
greats,
Right.
Kobe,
Right.
but everybody knows Michael Jordan was Michael Jordan. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Right. Right.
So, not knocking anybody, because you had a lot of powerful families. A lot of people think that Pablo is the biggest drug dealer of all times. Anybody that knows the real story knows that los Ochoas, they're the ones that were running the shit.
Mm.
Pablo was just the face.
Mm.
My godfather, Jorge Ochoa, doesn't even talk loud, bro. He don't even curse.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's so quiet. Like, he's like what's the correct word?
Subtle and humble.
Bro, the most humble person. And I remember one time when I did the Netflix,
Mm-hmm.
I did the Netflix story. I had to call Colombia to ask for permission.
Wow.
And my mom is like, no, you're crazy. Leave that shit alone. I'm like, yo, listen, there's people making millions of dollars off these stories.
Right.
I sit here and I watch Narcos and I watch all this and I'm like,
they're making stories.
They're making stories.
They weren't even in it.
They weren't even in it.
No knowledge, not in it.
I'm like, man, well, fuck it, man. I'm popular. I know everybody. I'm like, they can't kill me for the truth. I seen this shit.
Right.
I lived it.
Right.
I remember. So let me rewind. When I called Colombia, I called the viejo. I called Jorge Ochoa.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the original 5 of the Colombian cartel. There wouldn't be no cocaine, no gangster shit. This shit that we call coke, all that. There wouldn't be none of that if it wasn't for Jorge Ochoa.
Mm.
For Los Ochoas. My cousin just got out of prison doing 30 years. Didn't tell on nobody. The 30 years. Fabito Ochoa just came home, right? When I called Colombia, you know me, I'm a funny dude, dog. I'm not normal. I'm always clowning.
Right.
And I go and I tell my uncle, I'm like, yo, listen, they're gonna pay me to do the story on Netflix. And my uncle like, no, don't talk about us. The feds forgot about us. I'm like, bro, yeah, right, bro. Have you seen fucking Narcos? I'm like, I sit here and I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I watch Finding Pablo and all these things, right? He goes, look, just don't make us seem like bad people.
Right.
Whatever you do, don't reopen people's opinions
Right.
to what we used to do, because my godfather owns a bunch of shit in Colombia. A lot of people don't know he has stocks in Avianca, which is the airlines.
Wow.
So my uncle ain't worried about my godfather ain't worried about paying the light bill. He's set. Good. Right? But I sit here and I watch some of these narco movies, and the only reason I ever did the interview, the first one, and I put this on everything. Well, you know me, I'm a real nigga, bro. Yes, I can't even lie if I wanted to. Right. Only reason I talked about my uncle Rafa is because I saw all these gangster movies. They talk about Griselda Salute. They talk about Gacha. They talk about Los Muchachos. That I just ran into this guy the other day, not that long ago. What's his name that he just got out? It was Los Muchachos. There was two.
Oh, that was the dude from
Willie
Chicago, right?
Falcone. No,
Oh.
Willie Falcone. Bro, I just delivered a mattress to Willie Falcone's house by mistake. It was a coincidence, and I'm looking at him. And I'm like, bro, I seen you somewhere. And I'm like, oh shit, you
Right.
Willie Falcone.
Right.
And I'm like, yo, listen, my father's Bobby, my uncle's this. He's like, oh my God, bro. We sat down, we talked about everything. I don't want to put his business out there, but I'm like, yo, you doing good for yourself. We started talking. And I say this to say that when I started watching all this shit, I just felt like they didn't give credit where credit is due. They didn't talk about Rafa.
Now, do you think was that intentional, or just somebody wasn't able to give that? They couldn't reach somebody giving that story.
Well, listen, I've had conversations with a lot of people that are somebodies. Like Michael Corleone's my brother, bro. You know, me and Michael are real good. I think out of all the last few gangster left, is only Willie Falcone's kids, the twins, Michael Corleone and me. We're the only bloodlines of our bloodlines.
Right.
The rest of these other niggas are liars, cheaters. They watch too many shit on Netflix, and the only time they seen the hood is on Netflix.
Wow.
You know what I mean? That's how I feel. That's my opinion.
Right.
You know, there's a few people that they're fifth, sixth generation, and that's what they talking about. Nigga, we're direct. We were there. We were in Colombia.
Just call it
nigga, we got kidnapped. Michael got kidnapped. When I got kidnapped, I remember I knew we were somebody at an early age because I would always like my uncle. I was his favorite, and my uncle was like, what are you gonna do to the cops? And I remember I was like, pew pew tío, pew pew, and he was like, my uncle loved me. My mother tells me stories like, yo, your uncle, bro. I was straight. Even my uncle got killed, and it was years later, and we were still eating. We were still doing good till the feds came and got my old boy. But bro, I seen a lot of gangster shit. I remember even with the people that kidnapped me, like they liked me. Yo caigo bien. Like I'm the type of person wherever I go, dog, people fuck with me because they see the struggle, they see the real.
You were giving him the safe card. The guy was sitting and watching you.
I was, yo,
look out! I got you if you got me. Like,
yo, you know what's crazy?
A kid telling a grown man, if you let me out, you'll be good.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell him. I'm like, yo, if you let me go now, I'm like, I'll tell them not to do nothing.
You got the card.
You know what I mean? But I remember at a young age, I saw a dude get shot at a farm in one of our fincas in Colombia. Dude had some shit. I don't know the story behind it.
Stole probably.
And I remember fucking, it was like in Colombia, las fincas, they're big, bro. They're like, they got horses, and we were riding
acres and acres.
Yeah, acres and acres.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're on a mountain, and when you're a kid, you're riding horses. It's like it's nature, dog. You got creeks, and I remember, bro, like Rafa's sons, which are my cousins, and a bunch of other narcos as kids were all riding motorcycles and all this bullshit. And there was a part of La Finca in the back that had like pigs, horses, like where they kept the horses and shit. And they would always tell us, y'all can't go back there. And I remember, bro, I was just like, man, I was a fat little kid, dog. And I was always the slow one on the bike. I was always dragging. So I veered off.
That's the Puerto Rican in you. I think that was the Puerto Rican in you that was like rebellious.
Yo, I just like veered off. And I remember there was like 5 dudes there. And I'm not gonna say who was there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But it was a family member, and I saw a dude get plain executed. Right. You know what I mean? And bro, at 10 years old, where do you go from there, bro?
Hey, it's
you know what I mean?
That's called traumatic experience.
And then I'm from Brooklyn.
Right.
Like a lot of the people here, with all due respect in Miami, they won't survive a day in Central Park, bro. Let alone Harlem,
right,
the Bronx, South Queens, and they won't survive. It's a different type of jungle, bro. You put anybody from New York over here, and we thrive at whatever we do because we just see the hustle, the hunger, the different types of. You see in New York, you see a lady selling hot dogs, purses, and shoes out of one cart.
Right.
She's selling food, clothes, shoes,
and prostitute at night.
And prostitute at night.
And prostitute at night.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah. The real hustle
The
city.
real hustle, bro.
Um, let's talk about the encounters you had as a kid. Like, I mean, running into Pablo at a party, him picking you up and telling you to slow down, yo, man.
Yo,
Um,
you know it's crazy. Um, there was a few times that I met Pablo. Pablo was a family friend, bro. You
right.
know the when before these people really blew up.
Do you think they wanted to blow up though, or that wasn't their purpose?
My brother, I remember these people, my family, for example, they were making so much money that they would open up businesses just to say that they're making money. But a lot of businesses were successful.
Right.
So how do you hide money when you're bringing money, but you're making money? But it was, imagine, dog, the fucking
Is
the
money a
80s.
drug just as much as cocaine?
You know it's crazy, dog, because I've had them both severely, and I think the high of money is probably just as the high of cocaine, my brother.
Mm-hmm.
Because the thing with money makes you feel
Untouchable.
touchable. Cocaine makes you feel untouchable. The thing, even now that I started all over,
Mm-hmm.
right? I went from having money to being I could say a millionaire. You know what I mean? To losing everything, to starting over.
Right.
And I thought about suicide though.
Mm-hmm.
Cocaine never made me think about suicide.
But that money.
That money's power, dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tell you stories, dog, that I've seen people do shit for money, bro. That is
Wicked.
it's fucking disgusting, dog.
The reason why I ask you that is because I see so many people in positions where they have money, and you would think that they get to a certain point and they were like, "I, I'm good. Like, I'm good. Like, I don't. It's not that I want more, but I'm chilling. Like, I got a house, I got this, I got that. I'm safe. But they don't stop, and it just
Nah, man. You
goes and
see,
it goes.
I'm glad you said that. Before, before I ever went to prison,
Mm-hmm.
before I got popped,
Mm-hmm.
to me, everything, every now, looking at everything, 20 years old Alex to 42-year-old Alex now.
Mm-hmm.
The shit that I thought was important back then to now is totally different.
Yeah.
Repping a neighborhood that if you don't pay your rent, you can't claim it.
Right.
You're chilling with a bunch of motherfuckers that at the end of the day, they're gonna backstab you, they're gonna turn on you. When I went to prison, nobody wrote a letter. Very few did.
Mm-hmm.
Can't say that. Maybe two or three,
Right.
right? But when you get out and you open up a Facebook, you get 100 messages. They find you within a week. So what I'm saying is, dog, money makes a lot of people, man, act certain ways. And when the money's gone, that's when you realize
Who's who?
who's who, dog.
Right.
You want to find out if that dude is your friend, tell him you broke.
Right.
Tell him you can't do it.
Right.
When I went through this divorce, there's motherfuckers I put on. They're where they're at because of me.
Right.
I did that. I put them on. They wouldn't have any platform. They wouldn't have nothing if it wasn't for me, because I was on and I'm looking out. I'm old school. I feel that it ain't fun if you're the only one driving a Lamborghini.
Right. Right. Right.
If
Right.
you got a black one and I got a white one, I could be like, yo, Will, man, hey, let me yours. I don't feel like driving the white one today.
Right. Right.
And real niggas do real things.
Facts.
You see, a good boss is gonna make sure everybody eats.
Right.
You know what I mean? When I got indicted, I knew that nobody in my circle, my inner circle, was gonna turn on me. Because we were all eating the same.
What you thought?
We were all eating the same.
Right.
Out of the plate, everybody was getting their share. Nobody from my inner circle told on me.
Oh,
I still talk to everybody from that circle.
got you.
Nobody, no, I'm the only one that somebody got caught and they told on me. They wanted me to tell on my father and my family, but I had a circle. You see, the thing was, I would get shit on credit
Mm-hmm.
from my family,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
allegedly,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'd get shit on credit, and what I would do was I'd go and I would give it to everybody. Here's five for you, five for you, five for you, and then what would happen was I would get the money back. I would make my money on top, but I would always have good credit. You
And
know
this
what I
is
mean?
when you were selling potatoes, right? because we're gonna call this potatoes.
Potatoes, dog.
Yes.
Potatoes
You
and
were getting
sour cream.
you were getting potatoes from Colombia, and we were in the vegetable business.
Yeah.
Okay.
And everybody was eating. Everybody had new cars. Every like it was, I remember, bro, that it was like we would go out to dinner, bro.
What year was this, roughly?
Well, yeah, I went to prison in '09.
Oh nine. Wow.
So I went on the run.
We gonna get to that. No, you going forward to
All
go
right,
back. Go ahead.
all right.
No,
Listen,
no,
no, I'm lying. I got indicted
uh-huh.
in '07. I went to prison in '09
Oh nine.
because we fought the charge for about 2 years.
So it
If,
was
if,
okay.
if I tell you, I'm gonna tell you a story. Nobody knows the story. I was scared to go to prison, though.
Mhm.
I'm a little nigga. I'm seeing the movies, people getting raped, all this crazy
I
shit.
mean, you're not normal if you're not scared to go to
No,
prison.
no,
So
like
I
nigga,
think
like
that's
I was.
normal.
My dad did 20 years in prison. I'm
Right.
terrified.
Right.
So
right.
I'm over here like, yo, fuck that. I'm going to Colombia. I'm a little nigga. I don't stand a chance. And my father was like, you can't run.
Yeah.
He goes, no matter what happens,
You can run, but you can't hide.
you're always gonna get caught.
Right.
And it's gonna be worse.
Shout out to Pops because he gave
Yeah,
me
my,
the
my
fact.
my father told me, listen, I told you a long time ago, you either go to church or you're in the family business.
Mhm.
He goes, believe it or not, this is like you graduating from college. I'm like, yo, dad, I don't want to go to college. I'm
Yeah.
like, yo, like,
I'm dropping out.
yo, I'm like, yo, like, what could we do? I don't want to go to prison. I remember my family, all the way from Colombia, they made a phone call, and right in front of Dayland Mall, there's a police station in the bottom floor or some shit, right? We had a meeting on top of Dayland. It was like 10 people, right? All somebodies. These are all like big time niggas, right?
Right.
And this call was done from Colombia. My father couldn't go.
Mhm.
No, they told my father he can't go. This was just like
This was the meeting when your father told you, "Listen, you got to turn yourself in, and you got to have the meeting with the family."
exactly,
Okay.
right? So now at that age, I'm a kid, dog.
Right.
You know what I mean? My father, I told my dad, I'm not gonna be the first snitch in the family, bro.
Right.
Not gonna tell. In Colombia, dog, it's like
But they don't know that neither. Not to say that that's why they
it's
want
like
the meeting. They want to fill you out. They want to know.
but I had talked to my dad. At that time, it's like you wouldn't talk over the phone. Like you would deliver a message like this nigga is going to Colombia next week.
Right.
And he's gonna go tell them what you said.
Right.
And then you gotta wait another week for them to come back. And that week you're shitting bricks. You're like, yo,
Oh,
I hope you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I remember, bro, I went, it was cold. It was December because it was freezing. And I remember I had a jacket and I had a gun in each one of my pockets. And I remember I called my dad on the way over there. And I'm telling my dad, I said, if I see anybody twitch, at that time it was like the movie Desperado with Antonio Banderas, the nigga with the guitar. So I'm over here like, it's Desperado, right? This is what happens when you really believe that you that nigga in your head, right?
Right.
I'm up there, bro, and I remember I'm telling these people like, look, bro, I'm a man. I'm gonna do my time. Whatever they give me, I said they give me 100 years, I'm gonna do 100 years. They were like, look, mijo, Colombian talk. Look, you could run to Colombia and just you could never come back to America. But they'll catch you eventually.
Right.
But by that time, it'll be so many years. And I'm like, damn, I'm American. I'm like, Colombia's fun, dog, but I cannot never come back.
Not your backyard, yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, so I knew I was gonna go. I was just trying to prolong it, right?
But don't talk about why you came back.
Right? No.
Don't talk about that.
So I'm there, dog, and I'm not gonna lie, dog. A lot of niggas say they gangster, they this, and you might be tough, you might be all this, but when you go to a meeting and you don't know if you're gonna come back home, that shit'll make your ass go like this, bro.
Yeah.
Because I don't give a fuck how tough you are.
Yeah.
I've seen gangsters in prison cry. You know what I mean? So it was something that I went in there on very humbled, very soft spoken.
Yeah.
Sí, señor, no tranquilo. I'm talking professional.
Right.
But I'm like, I'm not giving my back to nobody. And I told them, listen, you know, I understand. At that time, they were hitting me with racketeering. They were trying to hit me with not RICO. They had we didn't know how much shit my so-called co-defendant had given them.
Right.
because he had recorded me for a while. They caught him for something else, and he went and he was like, "Look, my boss, which was me, allegedly, his family is the Colombian cartel." And this, he made it seem like I was fucking los chapitos.
And this guy was your friend or just a worker?
So-called friend.
Okay.
So-called friend. He was a nigga that he wasn't even a friend, dog. He was what the fuck was this nigga, man? He was just like a. I would send him to go pay when people owed money. I would send him to go collect. He was an enforcement. He would beat niggas up and allegedly,
For potatoes.
you know, for potatoes and sour cream, and he was in my mind. He came from such a struggle that I wanted to help him.
Right.
Wanted to help him.
Right.
Because I was just like,
he was down bad but showed ambition.
oh man, I remember I found him sleeping in a car, dog.
Damn.
And I remember, dog, that nigga bought a little BMW SUV. I remember his eyes. It looked like he bought a Lambo.
Is that a sign as well to see that somebody that moves out of desperation like that may also be a red flag as well? Or you didn't see it like that back then?
Brother, I've learned so much shit throughout this time, dog, that I've learned that everything that shines ain't gold.
Yes.
I've learned that out of 10 people, 9 are fake.
Mm.
You have a better chance of finding a good woman than a real friend. And these bitches in Miami ain't shit.
Allegedly,
with all due respect.
Yeah.
With all due respect.
I know, I'm going through it right now.
You know what I mean? So it's just Miami has snakes in Miami that you don't even see in the Amazon, bro. There's different types of snakes in Miami, my brother. They got anacondas. They got snakes that make these anacondas look like garden snakes, my brother.
All of them.
This shit over here different, bro.
All of them.
These motherfuckers don't pretend to be your friend, dog, to get you indicted. These motherfuckers are working for the cops, getting paychecks to sit here with the tattoos and the chains, and they're working for the feds, dog.
Jadakiss said in a song called "Fuck You," it's called. He says, "Everybody's a snake. That's why you got to keep the grass cut so you can see when they coming, so you can heat their ass up. Cause the same niggas you went to school with will catch you in your new whip and turn your brains into Cool Whip."
Yo,
Jadakiss.
Jadakiss said some. That's my brother too. Shout out to Jada, man. I fuck with Jada heavy. Jada said some shit the other day. I'm having a bad day, right? Talking to my chick. Feel like everything's upside down.
Right.
The odds are against me. Jadakiss said some shit. I go hard because I know it gotta hurt to die broke. And when that nigga said that, I played that shit like 4 times. I almost called him.
Yeah.
I almost called Jada. But you only call these niggas when it's in them, like, when you need them.
When it's needed.
When it's needed.
Right.
I swear to you, I looked at my phone. I was like, should I call Jada, dog? Because that shit was like touching. He goes, dog, I know it gotta hurt to die poor. I said, damn, dog. That shit gave me goosebumps. I'm like, man, what am I complaining for, dog?
Yeah.
I got homeboys in prison, ain't never coming home, dog.
Right.
I talked to a dude right now. He's been down 25 years. My brother. He's like, what are you complaining for? I forgot what a woman feels to touch a woman, dog.
Yeah. Fresh air.
Fresh air. You can open up the refrigerator. You can eat.
Right.
You know what I mean? So the shit that we take for granted, our problems.
Take a shower without another nigga looking at you.
Yeah, man. It's man, listen, that shit for the birds.
You know the vibes is Litty Willie from Litty Productions. I want to thank everybody that's been supporting us, sharing, liking, commenting, doing all that good stuff. Just to let y'all know, we got Instagram live videos, we got YouTube videos, we got all kinds of different productions. That's why we call ourselves Litty Productions. Make sure y'all hit me up if y'all looking for something at Litty Willie _. Litty Show Productions on Instagram, all that good stuff. Just make sure you hit me up. We out.
It's the Litty Show. The Litty Show.
You know the fucking vibes, man.
Okay, so growing up, childhood was good. Finding kilos and money in toy chests and hampers and things like that.
Good life.
Everything was great until your dad got arrested.
Yeah.
He was on the run. Feds are looking for him.
Yeah.
Disappeared, and with that, the money disappeared.
No, the money disappeared when he got caught, and still, we would still get money to the house. People would drop off a bag of money.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
So in the time of him running, though, you would partially see him, and I want to talk about a traumatic experience that you suffered that I think it sticks with you.
I'm gonna be real with you. Even though my dad was on the run, my dad was always a great father.
Right.
We never missed nothing.
That's what I'm talking about. On your birthday, he came through one night.
Yeah.
Brought you a gift.
Yeah.
Trying to came give you some love.
Yeah.
Like couple minutes later after he leaves, feds come
They
in.
kick down the door. Yeah. They
That's
kick down
that's
the
got to
door.
be something like kids don't forget their birthdays. Kids don't forget their parents,
Right.
and have to see your parent and to have your birthday and for the police to come in, those are three big things.
Yeah.
Like
It's my 13th birthday, though.
that's
13th
not
birthday.
normal.
No.
It's not normal, and I want to talk about that because we all we I interviewed a therapist yesterday actually,
Oh shit.
and she was saying like we're all fucked up in some sort of way, but
Yeah.
it leads from traumatic
Yeah.
experiences.
From when you're
And
a kid.
yeah, when you're a kid, I
Yeah.
mean, you got kidnapped, you seen somebody get shot, you enjoy your birthday, the feds kick in your door. I mean, and you're 13 at this point.
Yeah.
Did that stick with you still to this day, or did you learn how to like deal with your experiences and deal with your traumatic?
Yeah, I'm gonna be real with you, though.
Mhm.
I know I got issues, but I ain't never been diagnosed.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right. I mean,
That
we all do. I'm gonna let you know.
I'm just saying. I know I'm one sandwich short of a picnic basket. Do I have traumatic stress? I want to say yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I think, like for example, me
Mhm.
personally,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, you.
I've been through so much shit, dog. That ain't. I don't think nothing surprises me, dog.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know, my girl knows me since I was a kid, and she saw me cry for the first time the other day.
Mhm.
You know, and I broke down because of something with my son.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I don't want to say I'm made out of stone though, because I feel I have a good heart.
Right.
But I feel with all the shit that I've been through, my heart, I'm a great person, dog. I've taken off the shirt off my back for people, but I'm not that same person anymore.
Right.
With with experience, I've become more sheltered. I don't show love how I used to show love. I would give love unconditional.
Right.
You know what I mean? For example, like you would call me, like, yo, I've always been the friend, dog. A lot of the shit that I've been in trouble for wasn't even my problem, wasn't even my beef.
Somebody else.
Somebody else's. But me just, I'm so big on loyalty, dog. Like me, loyalty to me, dog, is worth more than $1 million, dog.
Right. Right. Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? So I come from a breed, a old school breed that back in the day, a friend would take a bullet for you. They'll take a bid for you. Do
Mhm.
10 years, won't say your name. Motherfuckers are telling over traffic tickets now.
Now a nigga will put a bullet in you and put you for a bit.
Nigga will try to fuck your bitch and you got locked up for a fight. You still got bond and the nigga's trying to fuck your wife. But he comes to your house every day.
I don't even think
And
it's
he
locked
calls
up.
you friend.
I think a nigga will fuck your bitch while you at work. That's how bad it is
Yo,
these days.
it's like, my nigga, I come from an era that your friend's wife could be beautiful. You don't look that way.
No,
You
no, no. It's
cover your
off limits.
eyes. It's
It's
off
off limits.
limits.
Off limits.
There's billions of women. Why
Right.
look at your friend's wife?
Right. 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 100%.
You know what I mean?
100%.
It's so much thing, dog, that this is why the lesbian rate is at an all-time high.
Mm.
You know, I had this conversation with Amber Rose and I didn't understand it. And she said, why be with a nigga that's gonna turn out to be a bitch anyway?
Mm.
At least she could help me with cooking. She could help me with cleaning. She knows how to make me nut. She can help me take care of the kids. Well, this nigga's gonna lie to me, cheat to me, don't even know how to make me come. And I was like, yo,
Words from Amber Rose.
when Amber Rose told me this shit, I'm like, yo, Amber, I think I'm a lesbian, dog. Shout out to Amber, dog. Amber's is a nigga in a woman's body.
Right.
She's the homie. But she made me analyze it from a woman's point of view.
Right.
And because sometimes I'll see women holding hands, you know what I mean? And I'm like, this woman could be with any man she wants. But they don't make real niggas no more like us will.
Mm-hmm.
We're like dinosaurs, though. The only
Right.
time you see dinosaurs when you go to the museum and you see them behind glass.
Right. Right.
We're getting to that point, dog.
Right. Right.
That the only time you see a real nigga is in a magazine or in a movie or something, because they don't make them no more.
Or behind glass, unfortunately.
Behind
in jail.
glass, or it's so much shit, dog. So my problem is, dog, is that I think everybody has the same heart as me.
Mm.
I know that there's sometimes I've come off rough, even with employees or with anybody, but I'm one of the few that I still speak from the heart.
Right, right, right.
I don't say shit how I should say it. I say it how I feel it.
Mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm.
say it from here.
Right.
And there's times I'll be like, damn, dog, I shouldn't have said it. Maybe I should have. You know, this is me getting older, and this is me realizing that
Maturing, not getting older,
maturing.
maturing.
That's not corporate.
Right.
You shouldn't speak to an employee like that. You should speak to a customer like that. You should hold back. But it's just the real in me is like, no man, fuck all. I don't think that shit's right. I think, but and it's a customer.
Right.
I don't give a fuck. This is how
Sound like my stepdad, bro.
it's real.
My stepdad got a hot dog cart, and I work with him sometimes.
Oh,
And he'll tell somebody, "Yo, if you don't know what the fuck you want, just go back this way." And I'm like, "Yo, like,
you
that's
just
the
fucked up.
customer, like, you fucked up
You
the
just
sale.
just
like,
fucked up the sale.
It's not crack, nigga. Like, this is food. Like,
Yo,
every
yo,
time
I'm gonna tell you a story.
Like
I went to I was in Dake City. I'm going through an issue for one of our locations that we're opening, right?
Mhm.
And I let this lady have it, dog.
Mhm.
She caught me on one of those days, and I pulled out the Spanish card. Do I look Mexican? I pay taxes. I went off on this lady. I banged on the desk. Nigga, I even saw her press the little button. I knew she was calling security. I'm like, bitch, this what you call it security? You know what I mean? But because I felt picked on,
Right.
I felt like,
You were victimized.
bro, when I sold dope, I never had issues, bro.
Right.
The only problem I ever had was I couldn't sleep good at night.
You know what I told my stepdad?
Well,
There's no HR in the drug game.
and
That's
the
the problem.
that's the problem.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Man. There's no HR in the drug game, bro. Like you
no,
gotta chill. Like,
yo,
but I get you. I
look,
get you. I get you.
and I went off on this lady though. Right. It comes out the head boss. Like I made a show. I'm like, bro, I want to speak to your boss's boss.
Right.
And I'm not leaving here. And I'm like, bro, I know a lot of people. I'm like, bro, I'll call Only in Dade. Those are my brothers. I'll call Channel 7. I went off on this lady, right? It comes out her boss used to come to my spot in Wynwood.
Oh wow. Full circle.
Look how her life works,
Full
right?
circle.
With all due respect, the lady used to be a paper pusher back then, a few years ago.
Yeah.
She would like do papers in all the departments, right? I didn't know that. But every time I would call her back in the day, she would help me out. Very nice lady.
Mhm.
Shout out if she's watching this. And look how life works. They ended up escorting me out of there, right? I leave, right? I'm like, yo, I gotta get out of here, yo. You know what I mean? I'm out on bond. I can't get in no trouble.
Right.
That's a whole nother story. I'll tell you about that later. So I'm out on bond. I gotta behave right now, right? So I walk out of there. I'm like, look, bro, all I want is a fair chance to open up this business. I'm so many thousands of dollars into this project, and you guys are giving me the loot. But when I sold drugs, I never got into issues. Everything was always good. But now that I'm law-abiding citizen, I pay taxes, I employ people. I want to do shit the right way.
Correct.
Right? You guys are giving me an obstacle where I've been shut down for 3 months. I've lost thousands of dollars, and I'm trying to make it right, and you guys keep closing the door. Their boss calls me maybe like an hour later. She's like, hold on, aren't you the guy, the little Colombian guy? I said, yeah. She's like, look, it's me, Charmaine, right? And I'm like, Charmaine? She's like, I'm like, the tall lady? She was like, yeah. And I'm like, how you been? We started talking. She goes, I'm like, but you were a paper pusher, with all due respect. She goes, no, I'm the head honcho now. I run all the departments.
Oh shit.
She fixed the problem like this.
That's it.
Like this.
1, 2, 3.
Nigga, it went, baby, should I say everything?
Hey,
They were charging me $50,000.
Okay.
And it went down to $4,500.
Okay.
Miami's not what you know, it's who you know.
Who you know?
They dropped it from 50,000 last week. They dropped it to 26,000.
Wow.
To me, it's extortion. You know, if you're gonna extort me, at least take me out to dinner, give me a cup of wine. Like, and 26,000. That's a lot of fucking vegan chicken, my brother.
Yeah.
So I told them, I said, listen, you guys are giving me an impact fee for a food truck park. I'm like, meet me in the middle. Like, make it under 20. And I'll give you, you know, oh no, that's the number, this, and that. I said, that's fucking bullshit. My friend owned a 5-star dining restaurant with a liquor license, and he paid 27.
Wow.
I got a food truck park, and you got to
selling
charge me
vegetables.
selling vegetables. And I'm like, you charging me 26? I'm like, is it because I'm Spanish? Do I look Mexican? I'm because the lady that's dealing with me is white. I'm like, you're looking at me like I'm a spick. I use the whole Spanish card, everything, right? When the boss calls me, bro, we said that. She's like, look, call me, let's talk. They dropped it down like this, bro.
Easy money.
4,500.
Mm.
But why do I have to be violent?
Mm-hmm.
Why do I have to take it? I say this shit all the time. Sometimes violence is necessary to control the peace. You feel me?
Business owners, they haggle. It's called haggling. I mean, taking it out.
Get me my drink.
Taking out. I think you left it by the door over there.
Can you get it for me, please?
It's by the door on the table.
But Miami's fucked up, man. It's not what you know, it's who you know, bro. You know, I got the problem fixed, and I've been trying to fix this for weeks. Emails, writing back.
But that's going legit. You know that, right?
This
is going legit. This is not the streets.
The irony of life. What I used to sell used to keep people up all night. When I went legit, I sold mattresses. I sold shit that put people to sleep. You see how God works,
right?
You know, I went from, man, you said this shit wasn't gonna be strong, dog. Nigga, I'm buzzed.
That's strong to you?
Nah, I don't drink.
Oh, okay.
I don't care if it's a girl drink now.
That's gonna be your one for the day.
All right, this shit, I feel like nice.
If you could turn back time, and you would want one thing to be different with your family life, what would you want it to be?
I think God punched out the clock early on my dad.
Okay.
I would give up a leg to have my father here.
Okay. Talking about your dad, moving to Queens with your dad, he gets out of jail. You're telling him, Pops, I'm ready to get in the game.
When they kicked us out of Florida. My father got out of prison, and the feds told him, we don't want you in Florida. You got to get out of here. So we packed up our shit.
Was that a permanent ban? Like, you can't come back?
They didn't want him in Florida because the thing is, my father had been out for 2 weeks. My father already had a brand new car, Rolex. We had a fucking a townhouse.
Right.
My father ain't even been out 15 days.
And he's pulling.
Nigga has a beeper.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm like, yo, I remember, man, we went from wearing Payless to Fila, Reeboks. My father's like, yo, man, fuck all that, man. Throw all this shit out, man. You my son.
Right.
And the feds came and knocked on our door and he says, you have 48 hours to leave Miami, or we'll make sure you can never leave.
Now, did your mom stay and you two went?
My mother stayed because my mother was very comfortable here.
Got you.
You know what I mean? My father and my mother, they were together for like, my mother rolled through my dad through his bed. My father did 20 years in prison.
Wow.
And
talk about a real one.
Yeah. My mother and my dad had a modern day Bonnie and Clyde. Even after my mother and my father broke up and my father had another woman, my mother had another man, one day
she still held him down emotionally.
Still, because one day my mother's new husband disrespected my mother, and my father went to the house and fucked him up. And my father had a whole relationship.
Right.
I think you were around for that time, right, babe? My father, I get a call from my little brother. My little brother's like, yo, your dad just went to mom's house and fucked this nigga up. I'm like, for what? Bro, they were arguing, and my father, even to this day, bro, like, my mom would be fucked up, and my dad would just,
That's what I tell my ex-wife. Like, shout out to my ex-wife. I don't talk to her. We not friends, none of that shit. But I always tell her, just make sure your my step-husband, don't never violate you in front of my kids. Like, me and you are not friends, but if shit happens like that, like, you're still the mother of my kids.
And the crazy thing is, my mother shot my dad, stabbed him. My mother shot my dad twice.
Yeah, but that's between them.
Right. Like,
ain't nobody getting in between that shit.
Yeah, right. Like, yo, it was.
That's that wickedness. That's just between.
That's like
between us.
That's like real toxic.
Yeah, that's the definition. That's how it was back then.
And then they'll be in the hospital together. He's patched up and they hugging like,
hold their hands and
hold their hands like
beds.
That's that real ride or die shit, bro. They don't make that no more, dog. Very rare to find that, my brother.
So you go to New York, with your pops.
Yeah.
You want to get into the game. Now you hear your dad's stories. You hear that your dad was the enforcer back in Colombia. You seen your dad growing up being the top guy, but you never seen your dad in action to the point where your dad's punching people's teeth out and keeping them as souvenirs.
Bro, let me tell you something. I would hear stories even when my father was locked up.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of my dad's friends will still come around and drop off money. And I still talk to a lot of my fathers. I talked to maybe two people that were really, really close to my father since they were kids.
Right.
And we're still to this day, we're family and they've always held me down.
Mm-hmm.
And vice versa. You know what I mean? To me, they're my family.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I would hear stories like my father was like the boogeyman, right? But my father, I just couldn't see no bad, dog.
Right. Right. Right.
You know, like your kids, like my daughter's a handful, bro.
Right.
And she grabs me, she does like this with one hand, dog, but she can't do no wrong in my eye, dog.
Right.
Like,
Right.
in my eyes, dog, like, and I know she's wrong, but
Right.
I don't give a fuck.
Right.
It's my daughter.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So I would hear stories, dog, and I'd be like, man, yeah, all right. Like, I would hear like some real crazy shit, right?
Until you see it.
Right. I don't believe shit till I see it. I remember, man, and I told my girl this story. This is when I found out my dad was who he said he was.
Right. Right. Right.
Like, because I would talk shit to him. My
Right.
father fucked me up a few times too, me
Right,
growing
right.
up. You know, my father beat the shit out of me a few times.
It was a
right?
friendly fuck up.
No, like I'll be like, man, like I'll talk shit to him. And I'll be like, you ain't got it how you used to, man. Like you letting this bitch talk to you like that. And I remember one time I just woke up and I was talking shit from the bathroom. I was brushing my teeth. I was getting ready to leave in New York. That nigga hit me so hard, I flew over the tub. That's why I was like, yo, I could be in the Olympics
Right.
because I did a double flip in the air and landed in the tub, like a perfect, like with my feet, like nigga, right? And he knocked me out for like 15 minutes. But my dad used to box when he was a kid. My dad had a big ass
So
hand.
that's why he was knocking motherfuckers
Yo,
out.
my father's hand. I got girl hands, nigga, but I hit hard, nigga. I knock niggas out.
He was
Look,
like a toaster, his hand.
my father's hand, he just had a monster hand. And I remember we go to a bar in New York, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, in New York, they don't ID you, dog.
Right.
If you're from the neighborhood, nigga, I was getting fucked. You get fucked up at an early age,
Yeah,
21. Fuck out of here. And it's me, my brother. It's my father, me, my brother, and three other of my dad's workers. So we're like 6 deep. And we go in there, and look, the guy's name was uh Max, but they Maximiliano or some shit.
Maximilian?
Maximilian, some shit, some dude owed my dad, I think it was like 6,000 or some shit, right?
Mhm.
And that nigga was sitting with 5 people in the table. So when my dad goes in the bar, they're like, oh, what's up? They used to call my dad Ranchito because my dad had a very famous nightclub in New York called El Ranchito.
Oh shit.
And it was all Colombian. My
Mhm.
father, the first one my father ever called was El Ranchito, and he opened up another one called El Rancho, upstate New York. My father has always been in nightclubs and bars and shit, right? My father walks inside, dog, and I remember, bro, I was legit, man. I was under 21 for sure. And we walk in there, and everybody's saying, "What's up?" to my dad. My dad's like, "Oh, what's up? What's up?" My dad sees the dude. My father don't even warn us. Don't even tell us shit. He's in the front.
Right.
And my father walks up. The guy's like, there's 5 people sitting. So picture this. There's 5 people sitting, right? There's one dude here. He's in the next to the other guy, but there's 3 other guys there.
Right.
My father pulled up. My dad said, "Bomb!" Smacked the drink out of him. I'm talking about my dad hit him so hard. The guy's drink fell. The people got up.
Smacked them sober.
Yo, I think he never drunk after that. They talk about going to rehab. So I remember everybody, we're all standing there like, you know, we got guns on us and shit. I'm like, oh man, we're just going down.
Showtime.
3 dudes walked that way, the other dude walked the other way. And they say shit. I'm thinking like, damn, that's your boy. Y'all breaking bread, y'all drinking, y'all eating. Where I come from is if even let's say I don't know you, but I'm with my boy and my boy's super close with you. And this has happened to me. This is not something I've heard. And
Right.
we go out. I don't know you, but if my dog knows you and you get into some beef, nothing to do with him or
Your
nothing to
shit
do
is
with
my
me,
shit. Yeah.
we gonna ride together.
Your shit's my shit. Right.
We come together, we leave together, we all on the floor, we all on the bed. If we lose, we're all gonna be in the ambulance together.
Right.
But we're gonna live to talk about it because we came together, we leave together, right? And my father smacked that dude so hard. When my father smacked him back, my father went in his pocket and took the money out of his pocket, right? There was money already on the table. I guess they were getting ready to pay the tab to leave. My dad grabbed that money, put it in his pocket. My father said, "Don't you ever dodge me for my money again."
Damn.
front of everybody. Nobody, bro. Everybody was just looking. Nobody said shit.
Smacked him so hard his homeboys felt it and said, "Let me
Yo,
not fuck
and I
around."
remember I was just like, yo, it's going down, it's going down, it's about to go down. I'm like, I'm there the whole time, just waiting to pull out. And my father said, next time you mess up my Friday night and you don't have my money,
Right,
you already know what's gonna happen.
right.
And I remember I saw that guy like a year later, bro, and the guy he saw me and he crossed the street. You know what I mean? Like my father in New York, man, my father had respect, bro, that it was like some real, like,
Right,
everybody knew
right,
about
right,
him.
right, right,
You know
right,
what I
right,
mean? My
right.
father in New York was,
Untouchable shit.
yeah, my father was, because the thing is, when my dad became a millionaire, my father would come back to New York and give out
Look out.
tours for Christmas in his neighborhood, give out turkeys. A lot of shit that I do. I got a lot of shit from my dad, though. I'm not gonna lie, though. I think my father wasn't big, big, big. My father was maybe 5'10", 5'11", but my father's heart was like 6'6",
Right.
6'7". And my father always gave back. My father's mother gave him away as a baby, and my father still loved her and called her mother. She's still alive,
Wow.
and my father always took care of her and always sent her money. And with all due respect, I would always, this was arguments me and my father would have. I'm like, she abandoned you as a kid. She left you.
Mm,
Why give her money?
right.
Like, you always paying shit for her. And he's like, because fathers, you can have 10. Mother's only one. She
That's a
gave
fact.
me life. And my father was like, she wasn't ready to be a mother. And that shit, I never really treated her like my grandmother, because I'm like, she gave away all her sons, but she kept the daughters.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And that, to me, I never respected it. So, that was a problem that me and my father always had, and I would deal with her because of him.
Did you make amends with her?
When my father died, I went to Puerto Rico, and I stayed at my aunt's house. I talked to my aunt all the time, and I tried, dog. I
Sure.
talked to her. I gave her money, but I don't feel it in my heart, dog.
Right, right. And it's your time. It's your time when
It's
it's your time.
I just don't respect. I don't respect a lot of shit that she did, dog.
Because that's the conversation we were having outside where I was like, we just started talking to my mom,
Yeah,
and it's like the thing you said about your father saying you only have one mother is kind of like a eye opening situation I had without a man telling me that or my
yeah.
own mother. So I can
You know,
understand him saying that.
me and my mother, I love my mother to death, bro.
Yeah.
My mother, I got my mother's back, whether she's right or wrong, but my mom's a handful, bro.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
She's
I
a
think all of
handful,
our
dog.
moms are, bro.
She,
But they gotta be to put up with some knuckleheads like us too.
yeah, my mother's been, but let me tell you something. My mother's been through a lot. My
Right,
mother,
right.
so I understand, and I can never say nothing, dog, because when we lost everything, dog, I remember sleeping in the beach with my mother,
Right.
and I remember that she would rather feed me and stay
And
hungry.
not, yeah, right, right,
So
right.
there's shit, dog, that I don't talk about, but to me, dog, my mother's has been my mother, my father. She was the real gangster in the
She's your heart.
family.
She's your
She's the
heart.
real gangster in the family. My mother, even though she came from money, dog, she was the rebel,
Right,
the drug addict, the partier,
right.
you know what I mean?
Marrying the Puerto Rican that didn't have shit.
Back then they
that
wanted
was
you.
that was frowned upon in the families.
Back then, not for nothing, but back then the Colombians wanted you to marry Colombians.
Right,
They
right,
wanted you to marry somebody
right,
with money.
right.
Well, they're gangsters, we're gangsters, but this guy's being a doctor. You're going to be an architect. We want you guys to,
Correct.
they would kind of arrange the marriages.
Right.
And my
Not the
mom,
pot smoking Puerto Rican.
nah, my father was the swagger with the leather
Right,
jacket
right,
and
right, right, right.
it's good girls like bad guys,
That's a
though.
fact. That's a fact. Um, things get hot in New York. You move back to Miami. You come back to Miami. You got a shit ton of problems, but you're getting money. Shit ton of problems is drugs kick in. You start taking drugs. Start taking cocaine. Cocaine. You're getting good money. Feds come.
You know
Feds.
what's crazy? I never used to like drugs.
Okay.
Your
Till
it's a-
when?
well, my father always used to say, never get high on your own supply.
Mm-hmm.
My father would always say that, never get high on your own supply. And um, I wouldn't do my own shit. When I would get fucked up, I would go and buy it from somebody.
Mm.
But then when that shit runs out,
Yeah,
you always
touch
end
yourself.
up going into your own spot.
Do you remember the first time you tried it?
When my brother got killed, I'm lying. before my brother got killed, one night I was fucked up. I couldn't drive.
Drinking or
I was drunk. I was just drunk. And my boy was like, yo, just take 2 whacks and it'll level you out. And I'm like, nah, fuck that. This is for junkies. The game is to be sold, not to be told. I'm not doing it. And I put because my father and my mother both had addiction problems.
so you didn't want it.
My father would. I don't want to say my father was an alcoholic, but you know what I mean. My father drank every day, but he was a functioning addict.
As all Puerto Rican men. But go ahead.
You know, my mother too. My mother was an addict, so I never wanted to try heroin or crack or none of that because I saw my parents doing it when I was a kid.
Mhm.
I remember seeing them getting
Mhm.
high,
Mhm.
right? So I was always afraid of that, right? That's why I didn't even like to drink because I knew that it's in my bloodline to have an addictive personality. One night I was fucked up, and that's the worst thing I could have did. I took 2 whacks, and I was like, "Oh shit!" All of a sudden, I don't feel the liquor. I was able to drive,
Wow.
and I was like, "Oh shit, okay," but I didn't feel the like when motherfuckers are doing bad, they come and they sell their TV and their
Right.
microwave.
Right.
And,
Right.
I didn't see it like that,
You weren't
right?
addicted yet. You were
Y-
just high.
I was just high.
Right.
When my brother got killed, I think that this was I started doing it because it would take my mind off of reality, what was going on.
Mhm.
And I know it's a fucked up excuse to say,
No, no, no.
but I started doing a lot of shit that I wouldn't do. Like I started breaking my own rules. I will never keep a gun on me because you're more likely to use a gun if you have it on you than if you don't have it on you. You're likely more to do something if you have it on you.
Right.
But I would always keep a gun. If I had a problem, I knew where to go get it. But I wouldn't want to have it on me because then I have, you know what I mean?
Temptation and
Temptation,
opportunity.
right? So I will never keep a gun on me because I always felt if I have to do business and I have to bring a gun with me, I don't need to do
That's
business
not
with
good
this
business.
person
Right.
because
Right.
I don't need to bring a gun
Right.
to do a transaction, right?
Right. Right.
I started really believing the movie in my head. I would bro, my brother, I never used to keep nothing where I slept at. We had 2 houses. We had a house where we kept dope, counted money in. We did dirt, and we had a house where we lived that nobody knew where our normal house was.
Dirty potatoes. Dirt.
Yeah, with sour cream. And and when my brother got killed, I remember. I don't know if I used it as an excuse, but I started doing coke
Mhm.
every day, and I couldn't function without it. When it wasn't the coke, it was the weed. So I was sniffing at night and smoking weed during the day.
Mm.
So all night you're looking out the window, and all day you're fucking all
Same thing.
dazed out.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I was trying to numb the pain of my brother getting killed, but all I know was that I left myself vulnerable to get ran up on, to slip, to go to prison. When they ran up on me, I slipped. I had a gun on me. I had drugs, all types of shit that before I wouldn't even talk over the phone.
This is when they came in your house.
This is when I got raided right here in Kendall.
And they robbed you for $990,000.
$998,000, and they took it in my own Louis Vuitton luggage.
Now they took an AK-47 from you, and luckily they stole that. It didn't charge you for that.
They took that. They took all my jewelry. They took like 3 Cuban links, the Rolex, the bracelet. They took what the money. They took over $1 million in jewelry, the everything. But I feel that I bought freedom
Of course.
because if they would have found the dope that I had in my house, I had I had a quarter key just in my nightstand, which is 9 ounces for those people.
So that was personal use. A
A quarter key was
quarter
personal.
kilo of cocaine for personal use.
I was just for parties, dog. Well, it's a funny joke. My God, it's fucked up me saying this in front of my girl. But we used to go to Booby Trap,
Mhm.
and then the party, all the strippers from Booby Trap would come to my house, my party house.
Right.
The owner, God bless the dead, Rob. The original owner of Booby Trap was Rob, an Italian dude.
Okay.
He died of an overdose,
Okay.
cocaine.
Oh.
And I remember the parties that were Rob, man. Rob would be like, "Yo, we're going to the Boom Boom House," and everybody knew, "Yo, we're going to my house after that." And I had a big mega ass crib, so when you would come to my house, you would run into baseball players, football players,
Right.
the owner of Booby Trap, uh, the owner of Mangoes. You would run into somebody, and you're like, shit, don't you own this night? And it was like, bro, I had 3 stripper poles in my living room, dog. So I was like, I felt my house was better than Booby Trap
Yeah, yeah.
because the party was really there. Like
Right,
no
right.
security guard were there
You were
hanging
the
out.
after party house.
It's the after party. And let me
With
tell you,
9 ounces of cocaine.
that was yo, bro. When I used to, no cap, when I used to throw these parties, bro, I'll put a plate, and I remember I would probably throw 2, 3 ounces in the plate. The shit would only last half of the night.
Now, how much does that cost in the street? 9 ounces, if you would say
Well, bro,
easy.
right now, back then, I was getting the ounces at like $400 or $500 an ounce.
No, I'm talking about today. If
Oof.
you have 9 ounces of cocaine, what would that cost you?
It's like, well, I'm vegan now, my brother. So I wouldn't even.
I mean, I've never done cocaine, so I don't even know the prices of cocaine.
It's like probably like 12 ounce. It's 1,200 an ounce right now.
Wow.
Maybe even more.
I mean, and that's
fire.
inflation.
And no. This is like probably touched.
Right.
Fire.
Yeah.
Straight off the brick, 1,500.
Nothing with fentanyl on it.
Nothing with fentanyl. I'm talking about tested and all that. Probably
Right.
1,500. Yeah.
Um,
Back then it was I used to sell an 8-ball, which is a 3.5.
an 8 ball of potatoes.
An 8-ball of sour cream and potatoes, and I would sell an 8-ball, bro, for 120. Right.
Right.
After 12 o'clock at night, I would not sell you less than 2 8-balls. So it would have to be $250.
That's supply and demand.
Supply and
deal?
demand, and bro, and I would, bro. Let me tell you something. From 12 to like 6, bro, I'd make $5,000-$6,000 in one night.
Right.
Just fucking 3-4 sales, and I was like, yo, that's what it is. If you want, and then it's an itch. You're chasing a high that once you get there, you can't surpass it. I remember the first time when I went to Colombia. I'm doing this bullshit here in Miami. I go to Colombia, and I told a dude at the bar, I'm like, I give him a $20 bill, and I'm like, yo, I want some powder, and the dude comes back, maybe with like a half an ounce. Over here, that shit was like $500. He bring me a big bag full of coke, and I'm over here breaking it on the bar. And I was with 2 of my boys that are from here, but they're in Colombia with me. And I'm like, yo. So I grab a big ass fucking key, and they're like, yo, no, this is not Miami shit.
Should have ripped your face
He
off.
said, no, nigga, chill. And I'm like, what the fuck, bro? I remember I took the first whack, and my chest said, and I'm like, my boys are looking at me like, boy, I told you. And I'm like, I can't feel my face, though. And I remember, dog, that I grabbed the bag and I passed it to him. I was like, I don't even want this shit. Yo, I was so used to the garbage that I'm like, yo, and I remember it was just one big whack, but I remember, dog, I was stuck, dog. And in Colombia,
It's like eating edibles for the first time. You didn't want to
bro,
fuck
I
with it no
remember
more,
I was there and I was like, yo, dog, this shit. And I'm like, bro, imagine, dog. I was like, I didn't want it no more. I'm like, I'm like, so what the fuck? What are we doing in Miami? Because I can't feel my face. Bro, I thought I could grab a car and throw it. Nigga, over here, you take a whack, you're looking out the window all night, you're paranoid, everybody's a cop, the feds are coming. It's a dumb high, bro. It's a dumb high, bro.
Right. So all that happens, drugs, this, that, and the other, feds come, kick your door down.
The feds rob me.
Feds rob you. Going backwards to go forwards, but then your dad tells you, listen, ain't no running. You better fucking figure it out. You run to Colombia. You stay in Colombia for a little bit. Stood there until, God bless the dead, your brother gets murdered.
Right. That's when I met Nicky Jam. Nicky Jam was not famous. Well, Nicky Jam's always been famous, but Nicky Jam was living in Colombia.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was living in Colombia. This is when he came back from the dead. Nicky Jam was in Colombia, and Nicky Jam had a clothing store in El Poblado. Shout out to Nicky Jam. That's my brother
Shout
for
out to
life.
Nicky Jam, for sure.
That's my brother, man. Everything he has, he deserves it. I'll tell you some real shit. I'll take a bullet for Nicky. It's my brother. I didn't fuck with Nicky because I knew he had that song back in the day, Soy tu marido. That's always been the hit that I knew Nicky from. But when I met him, he was such a cool nigga that he's always been the same. He's just humble. He's just real.
Right.
He just don't, and at that time I used to do beats. And I remember I used to sell the beats. I used to sell like 8 beats for $10 and shit. But I was in Colombia. I was in Colombia and I was living out there. And they introduced me to Nicky. Fade was there too. Famous Fade now. That back then he didn't look nothing how he looks now. But now that I realized that it was Fade. Fade was around that time too. And they're talking to Nicky. Nicky's Puerto Rican. I'm like, yo, between me and you, I'm Puerto Rican too, dog. And he's like, oh, for real? And it just started. We have a joke, me and Nicky, about that shit. That he was like, because Nicky, if you talk to him, sometimes he talks Colombian.
Oh shit.
You know what I mean? Like he
Right.
could turn it on and off like me. Like yo puedo hablar colombiano, I'll talk Colombian.
He was like your dad.
Yeah, like I could turn it on and off. And me and Nicky are just there. We're just vibing. And Nicky told me, he's like, yo, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna be the biggest this and that. And I'm like, Nicky's such a good dude, dog, that I believed it, dog.
Yeah.
He has a hell of a redemption story, dog.
Right.
Hell of a redemption story, Nicky.
You know the vibes is Litty Willie from Litty Productions. I want to thank everybody that's been supporting us, sharing, liking, commenting, doing all that good stuff. Just to let y'all know, we got Instagram live videos, we got YouTube videos, we got all kinds of different productions. That's why we call ourselves Litty Productions. Make sure y'all hit me up if y'all looking for something at Litty Willie _. Litty Show Productions on Instagram, all that good stuff. Just make sure you hit me up. We out.
It's a Litty show. The Litty show.
You know the fucking vibe, man.
So you're in Colombia. You're on the run.
Yeah.
Dad's telling you, if you come back, you're gonna get caught. Your brother dies. You have no option.
My
but
brother
to
gets
come back.
killed.
Right.
My brother gets killed in Chicago. The story is me and my brother, me and my older brother,
Mhm.
we had stopped talking because of some money.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
50,000.
Yeah,
30 money.
30 money. What comes by water goes by water. I don't know, like money does a lot of shit to you, though. When you're getting money and you're doing shit, you always want to be the leader of your pack, right? You always want to be the boss, whatever. Everybody wants to be the Gotti,
Right.
right? But what makes a successful group is when you understand if he's the lead singer of the band, right? Let's say Aventura,
Right.
for example, right? I'm really good friends with one of the dudes in Aventura, right? And I told the dude, I said, listen, y'all broke up because Romeo is the fucking lead singer.
Right.
Who gives a fuck if you guys are all making the same amount of money? Romeo's making a little more, but he's the star. When they broke up, he went and did his own shit. Still Romeo Santos. They got back together again. It's not the same.
No.
It will never be the Aventura from the beginning,
Right.
right? And I had a real nigga conversation with this guy. And I said, did you make money? He goes, well, we made more together. I said, so why let the pride and the ego and the this and that? If he's the star, he's the star. You have to realize at a moment in your time that if somebody in the group, if that's the boss, that's the boss.
Chiefs and Indians.
Exactly.
Now everybody
But
can
no,
be the chief.
everybody now wants to be
The chief.
the chief.
Without putting Indian work.
There's no Indians anymore, right?
Right.
So what makes shit real is when there's love and I fuck with you, I want you to win whether you're with me or without me, right? It's unconditional.
Correct.
If we're in the same crew, we're both making money. I know, God forbid, something happens to me, you're the one that's going to get me out of the jam that I'm in.
Correct.
You're the one that's going to get me a lawyer. Vice versa. It should be that love, right? When there's a lot of money in it, everybody wants to be who my dad was. But even my dad had a boss.
Right.
And my dad's boss, which was my uncle, even he had a boss, which was my godfather. So this is a pyramid. You know what I mean? Everybody had their part. Even with the cartel, when the bosses started trying to be Pablo, the face, is when everything went wrong.
Right.
If everybody already thinks that he's the bad one and he's the leader and he's this, let them get him.
Right.
But everybody who knows the real story knows Jorge was the mastermind. He's the one that put everybody together. You're going to do this, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. It don't matter if you get a little bit more fame. And now that's actually, you're heating everybody up.
Right.
So let him take the heat.
Yeah.
What happened with me and my brother was there was never no jealousy or envy because we're brothers.
Right.
It was just my brother went to Chicago and tried a new market. Which Chicago's a real dangerous city.
Yeah, for sure.
I've been to Chicago. I lived in Chicago for a few
Gang
months.
infested.
Yo, like, listen, I'm from Brooklyn. I'm from one of the roughest cities in America. And when I went to Chicago, I got my ass beat the first day. And I remember I had a Timberland. I told my girl I had a Timberland logo on the side of my eye. The tree, I had the tree for like a fucking month.
Right.
And I was like, yo, this shit, like over there, like I was watching a basketball game in Humboldt Park, and I remember we're all there chilling. A dude shoots a dude in the park. They don't even stop playing the game.
Yeah.
They check the ball and keep going, and I'm over there. Yo, they shot, buddy. My brother, man, stop fucking pointing. Mind your fucking business.
Yeah.
You didn't see shit. I'm like, bro, no, I saw him. The dude came and
shit.
boom, and the guy fell. And these people are playing 5-on-5. The police came. There's over 100 and something people in the park. Police came. Nobody saw nothing.
Yeah.
No, we don't know nothing. Oh, nah.
That's why I call it Chirac.
And that's when I saw that shit in Chicago, I said, yo, listen, man, I gotta get the fuck out of here. This is some real gangster shit over here.
So it's really because you didn't want your brother to be there.
It's not that, dog. I feel that he went to uncharted territory. He opened up 2 nightclubs. He was doing his thing. I remember I went out there to see him, and I was like, yo, Chicago's it's like a frozen Miami.
All right.
I'm like, oh, this shit fire. I liked it. You know what I'm saying?
Frozen Miami, I like that.
It was just fire, and it's like, bro, we were going into the hoods, and I remember, bro, I saw a little kid holding an AK-47, and I've only seen that shit in Colombia in the jungles.
Right.
I've seen kids, they don't got shoes, but they got a big ass
gun.
So I'm like, and Colombia's serious. Right. Colombia, before they'll shoot you just to say they shot you.
Right.
You didn't do nothing, right? When I'm in Chicago, my brother's making mad money, right? They're trying to do, allegedly. There's a play that's trying to get done. My brother needed an extra $50,000 because he was buying a nightclub. So I was like, all right, I'll wire you the money. I'll make sure you get the money. Don't worry about it. Get him the money. My brother goes and opens up another nightclub, right? He's supposed to pay me within 90 days. The right thing to do is like, yo, it's a family business. Yo, I'm going to give you ownership in the club.
Right.
You know what I mean? Something like that.
I can't pay you back, but your name's on the
title. Yeah. Hey, look, something, God forbid, happens to me. You got ownership. Right. We brothers, right?
Right.
Never said none of that. So that shit kind of bothered me. But now being older, I learned business is business. Family's family, right? My brother, they try to extort him. The mob, the Italian mob come and try to put down, which they do this in our cities. You know, they have the mob, which they come and tell you, look, if you don't pay us, we're going to burn your restaurant. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And there's people, they pay because they don't want no problems. They came to my brother. My brother's a real nigga. My brother's like, look, man, tell your boss, come see me. Mm-hmm. And I come from this family and this and that. They're thinking he's bullshitting, swagged out kid, jewelry. You know what I mean? And they came back like 3 weeks later, and my brother smacked the dude and goes, tell your boss I said suck my dick. Wow. And when my brother called my father said, grab your shit and come to Miami. Go to Miami. Lay low in Miami. He goes, Chicago. He's like, no, Dad, I'm not running. Fuck that. If they want problems, we'll get it. And we were trying to find out who the boss was that was trying to extort, right?
Right.
They let him ride for a while, right? My father goes to Chicago. My father leaves. 2 weeks of my father coming back. We get a phone call. I remember I had never seen my father cry. Never. I've only seen my father cry maybe twice in my life. That was the first time I saw my father cry tears of blood. You know what I mean? I remember my father fell to his knees. It was like 2, 3 in the morning. And I'm like, what's up, Dad? What's going on? I'm thinking something happened to his mom.
Yeah.
To my grandmother. And he's like, they killed Junior. I said, what? I said, nah. 2 days before that, I put my pride to the side and I called my brother to squash it. I said, man, fuck that. Keep the money. You know, you need it more than me. At the end of the day, man, we brothers. And I called him and it kept going to voicemail. The phone was off. Like, his phone was off.
Yeah, voicemail.
I kept going to voicemail. His phone was off. I even called him from another phone and said, he had blocked me or whatever. His phone was off for like 2 days. And I feel like damn, dog. Still to this day, I still feel the burden in my heart
Right.
that I let some punk ass money rob me and him 6 months of us being able to be together. Still to this day, it haunts me. Just like my father died 3 months before me getting out of prison. I got into a fist fight a month before I was supposed to get out. I was supposed to get out in 2012.
You were on good behavior and you were doing
I had
great.
I had game time. I had game time.
You were doing great.
I had game time, and a nigga tried me about some dumb shit. And bro, I grabbed the dude was a lot bigger than me. And prison doesn't matter though whether you got a day left or you got an hour left. Respect is respect. And I remember, bro, I went to the bunk. I grabbed the lock and a sock, and I fucking just ran at that dude, and I cracked him like 4 times in the head with the lock. And he didn't press no charges, but just by me being in the box, they had me under investigation for 90 days.
It took that time from you.
They took 3 months out. So look at how I look at life. The 3 months that I lost game time would have given me time to see my father. My father died 3 months from me getting out.
Oh.
So if I would have never did that fuck shit, I would have been by my dad's dying bed. But everything happens for a reason. If I would have saw my father die in front of me, I don't know. I don't know what I would have done. It would have been fucked up. So
Right.
I think God does everything.
Kept you out of a situation.
Kept me out of a situation because even when my father died and I was in prison, I remember, bro, I almost lost it.
Was it natural causes?
Father died from cancer, pancreatic cancer.
Wow.
And it spread through his whole body.
So it wasn't long. It was quick.
Yeah, my father, they found out he had it Thursday, and by next Wednesday, he was gone.
Wow.
Yeah.
God bless. If you could say something to your brother right now, what would it be?
Oof. To my brother that died or my brother that's alive?
Your brother that died.
Oof.
It's one thing. Not one word, but one thing.
We should, I wish you would have picked up the phone that day.
Okay.
That shit would, besides the sorry and
Right.
but I think that phone call would have changed me. I think that phone call has fucked me up still to this day.
If you could ask your brother anything right now, what would it be?
Is Tupac dead or alive?
If
Oh man.
oh that wasn't the question. That wasn't
Nah.
that
If
would
I
have
could
been a good
ask
one.
my brother, yeah, that's a good one, right?
If you could ask him anything right now, what would it be?
How my future's gonna turn out. What I could do to change shit around. I go hard, dog. I'm persistent, dog.
Persistent and consistent.
Yeah, I'm like the Terminator, dog.
Right.
I don't stop, dog. I won't lose, not even in defeat, my brother.
If you could set up a date to chill with your brother for one day, where would you set it up and chill with him at? He was alive right now. You had an opportunity to set up just a brother's date. Y'all chill all day long.
My 21st birthday, me, my dad, and my brother celebrated it at Mangoes on South Beach.
So you would want to live that over again?
Yeah, if I could, like, there's people that say if you could rewind anything, or replay it, or change it, or anything, will be my 21st birthday at Mangoes with my dad and my brother.
I'm actually the same questions, but with your dad. If something you could say to your dad right now, what would it be?
Oh man,
say anything to Pops right now, what would it be?
Dad, now I understand everything he was telling me. I always had the right answers to everything. I'm like, yeah, I know that. But a lot of shit that I've gone through, I wouldn't have to go through it if I would have listened to the shit.
Right.
The game that he was giving me,
right?
It's
$1 million worth of game right now.
Oh man, let me tell you.
It was 50 cents when he was telling you, but it's $1 million worth.
You know, my father, that shit, bro, se me paran los pelos. My dad goes and tells me one day, he goes, when I'm dead and gone, you're gonna sit and remember all the shit that I used to tell you. And you're gonna say, damn, now I get it.
Right.
Now I understand it. And I would tell him, now I understand it. Me and him, I never got to say goodbye to him. Still to this day, I sleep with my dad's ashes next to my bed. But I feel like I have a trauma because of that. I feel empty, dog. I feel like I didn't get to
Closure.
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 And I've always wanted to go to a medium, like that famous medium lady from Long Island, or the kid, you know, because I feel that before I die, I need that closure, dog.
Are you a religious person? Do you?
Yeah, yeah. I believe in God. I'm Christian. I believe in that when we die, we go to heaven. I believe in reincarnation. I believe in all that. I'm very spiritual, though. Very
So,
deep.
not to get too deep into religion, because I know that offsets a lot of people. When was the last time you actually prayed?
I pray a lot, though. I pray
You pray
every
to
other
him?
night. When I know I pray to God, but when I'm having rough days,
Right.
which is a lot, I always catch myself like I talk to him.
Right.
Like I talk to him, I mean, you're talking. I'm like, yo, Dad, help me. But there's a lot of times, though, that we're human, though. I want to snap
Mm-hmm.
because even though I'm at a good place now, when you go from, I don't know if you talked about the story, but I went from having everything to losing everything twice.
Right.
This is the third go around. This is my third chance.
We're getting to the third. We're almost there. We're getting
So
to there.
I feel that I talk to my dad all the time. I pray to God almost every night. Some days I'm so exhausted, but I try to talk to him, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the little bit that I do have. I'm grateful because I feel that God will give, God will take.
Yeah.
And I believe everything's a blessing or a lesson, dog. I wouldn't change anything on my story.
That's a fact.
I
I always say, never losses, always lessons. There's
Yeah.
no L's and losses.
Who would have ever told me after all these years I got married, I had children, that I would end up back with my high school sweetheart?
Right.
Dog.
Yeah, the way it works.
The irony, you would have told me this shit 10 years ago, I would have laughed. I would have been like,
Fuck up.
oh, fuck out of here.
Fuck up.
Never.
Right.
But,
So you got out. You're out of jail.
right.
Dad dies.
Right.
You get back on your fuck shit. You're back with mom, living with mom.
Yeah.
You go to the strip club. You leave with a stripper. You got drugs and gun in the car. You get pulled over.
Right.
Cop tells you, let me see your ID. You're fucked up. You got drugs in the car. You got a gun in the car. As he's running your license, you tell the female, get ready, because we're going to go for this ride. If he tries to fucking take me to jail.
Yeah.
As soon as the cop starts running your license, other cops start flying by with their lights on, sirens on. You're like, what the fuck? I'm caught. Then a couple more pass by. Cop comes. Before he comes, you tell God, I won't even look at another drug again if you fucking let me out of this.
That was the last time I ever sold a bag of dope.
Last time I ever sold a bag.
And that's the last time I had a gun on me.
And the cop then throws the license at you, tells you stop speeding, get the fuck out of here. And you don't go to jail.
I was reborn that day. I really thought I was going in. I had been out 90 days.
Mm-hmm. How much time were you looking at if you got that gun in there?
I still had a year probation. One of my charges, I had a gun on me. So I had if I would get caught with a gun, convict the felon with a gun, a new charge, plus I had 2 ounces of coke, a gun, which was a dirty gun, easily 15, 20.
Wow.
Because they would have hit me with the max.
Wow.
They would have all the charges that I had copped out to. They would have given it to me max. So I'd probably I would still be in prison right now.
Wow.
If that cop would have searched that car that night. Yeah.
Isn't that how funny life works? Because somebody else's trauma was your freedom.
Still to this day, dog, I wondered somebody had to die that night to save my life.
Right. That's what I said. Somebody else's trauma is your joy.
Something, and and God bless whatever happened. Then I don't wish bad upon nobody.
Right.
But something real tragic had to happen that night for 2 cops to pass by, and the third cop just throw the license, and I was fucked up. Dog.
He knew probably you were fucked up.
Bro, listen, I was so fucked up.
There was no hiding it.
No, bro, listen, my brother, I wasn't even like a few beers. Like I'm like 15 drinks in.
Yeah.
And I had 2 ounces of coke, a gun under the seat, and I had an 8-ball of coke in my pocket. And
you were done.
I was done, bro.
You were done.
I was done, and I remember when, you know what is crazy? I did the trip again.
That's what I was just gonna ask you.
Years later, because it's in Coral Gables, and it was the strip club on US One, the Booby Trap.
Uh-huh.
That night, I made a right, a left, a right, a left. I remember I just went under the. I didn't even give a fuck about the bitch anymore.
Right.
I'm like, man, fuck. I had such a spiritual moment.
Survival mode.
Bro, and this is the thing. People only want to pray when they're in trouble.
Right.
And when they're in trouble, oh God, I promise you, please, Jehovah, Moses, Muhammad. When
Allah.
they're in trouble, Allah. When they get in trouble, they pray. But I remember that day, I talked from the heart to God. I said, God, I know you're real. If you let me get out of this one, I promise you I will never sell a bag of drugs again. I will never do nothing. I said, I don't even care. As a matter of fact, when the cop let me go, that I made a right, a left, a right, I grabbed the shit and I threw it in the bush. I threw that shit. I still owed that. They gave me that on credit.
So you had to pay that shit.
So I had to get a job, bust my ass, sweat, and pay that back. You know what it is? That I know I could have just, well, you know what? Let me just go grab another ounce.
I sell it.
Let me look, God, I'm sorry. Let me flip it real quick.
No.
Let me pay that back. And then I promise you, because then that's when they get you. Dog. So I said, you know what? I promised something to God. And
I'll do it.
And I remember, dog, every paycheck, bro, because back then it was like $11 an hour, $10 an hour. So these paychecks, imagine 40 hours a week, that's $400.
Yeah.
And you're giving them $300.
Like $300 because of your taxes.
The taxes and everything.
Yeah.
And you're like, but I clean my face, dog. You know, my face is good wherever I go. So I say this to say that I went back another time, maybe like a year after, and I looked at the house. I looked at the bush and everything. And that bush looked like the same as the same day.
Damn.
I would never, bro, I could go to that house right now. Like that, it's traumatic. It's stuck in my head.
It stays there no matter
what.
Yeah.
And the crazy part about it is, bro, years later, I become successful. I open up multiple restaurants. That cop went to go eat at my restaurant in Wynwood.
No way.
I didn't say nothing to him.
Right.
I played crazy. But you know, when you see somebody's face and you know you've seen them somewhere,
You can never forget it.
You know, it's just, you know somewhere, you don't know where. Later on that night, it hit me. I'm like, that's the fucking cop from that night. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, I wanted to ask him, like, nah, I'm clean, I'm good. I'm like, what happened that night? Like, it's like an unsolved mystery to me, dog. Like, I want to know. Somebody died because it was crazy, though.
Talking about cops, money, new experiences, fresh starts, and drugs. Drugs kind of helped you because when you were on your highest, you were fucked up one night and you buried $50,000.
Yeah. Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
You beat this cop case. You're broke now. You're working a dead end job. This, that, and the other. And you say, I need some bread. I want to start a business. I need to do this. And a light bulb goes off in your head and say, fuck, I buried $50,000 in the old house.
Right. So you know how these old stories, how they bury money in the fucking walls and shit like that, right?
Right.
I remember one night we had a bunch of people in the house, and I had so much money, bro. That, bro, it was. I'll tell you a story. A week before that, we had seen when you're fucked up, you're watching TV and everybody's, you're in a different world. And I remember there was some shit about Mexico, and I'm like, everybody pack up, we're going to Mexico tomorrow. You know how they get you with the commercial?
That's how rich you were.
Yo, I was just like, I'm like, oh shit, yeah. I think it was Tulum or something. I wasn't even Tulum, it was Acapulco. And then they're like, Acapulco, come, and this, and I'm watching the commercial, and I'm like, yeah. I'm like, you know what, guys? Everybody pack up, we're going to Mexico tomorrow. And we would go spend 20 grand like nothing. Right. You know what I mean? I remember one night I was in one of them fucked up different world, dog. And I remember I was like, yo, I don't have nothing buried. My father always told me, when you get in the game, you always gotta have 20,000 at least put up. It's either bond or your lawyer, because you're gonna need it eventually.
You're gonna need it, right?
You're gonna need lawyer money. And my father would tell me, I'm like, the fuck out of here. My father's like, everybody gets caught. Al Capone, The real gangsters have been
At least
caught.
he knew. He gave you the
Yo,
most,
my father,
best
bro,
game in the
my
world.
father was Nostradamus,
Yeah.
bro.
He told you you're gonna
He
get caught.
predicted, like my father said, listen, 2 things for sure, 3 things for certain. When you die, you die. And if you die and you owe taxes, they're still gonna charge you the taxes. You gotta pay taxes. And he goes, and one thing is you always get caught eventually. And nobody retires on top of the hill. That's only for the movies. The first money you start making, grab 20, 25,000, put it up somewhere where nobody knows where it's at.
You double that shit up.
So, no. I'm already making money.
Right.
I'm already making money and all this bullshit. And I would get fucked up with my dad, bro. Me and my dad were like brothers.
Right.
We were tight. He was my right-hand man. Only person that never really shitted on me. That was always genuine, right? My father wasn't there that night. I go, bro, and I remember I had bought the Bustelo coffee.
Yeah.
And bro, I remember, dog, that I used to always, because these bitches are evil, even back then, they wouldn't steal the money, they would steal the coke. You know what I mean? So you can leave money laying around. They won't take no money. They will take the drugs, the Xanax. I go, bro, and I remember it was 10 grand per yellow envelope. So I grabbed 5. I'm like, that's all that fit in the can. I wish that Bustelo would have made a thicker can or wider, because I probably would have put more in there, and I would have really been straight, right? But I'm like this, and I remember the 5, and I'm like, oh, fuck it, I made it fit, right? And I'm like, I'm trying to put another one in. So I go and I grab Vaseline. This is all movie shit. I grab Vaseline. I took the can out. I put the money in. I wrapped it up with the saran wrap, Vaseline, this, that, boom. And then I go outside. I watch a lot of Oak Treasure and Who Found This and Unsolved Mysteries, right? Nigga, I go to the back of my house and I start counting steps.
That's how you know you fucked up in real life.
Nigga, dog, okay, this is when the shit was that, now you take a whack and you get diarrhea.
Yeah.
Back then, nigga, I'm over here counting steps. I'm looking at the moon, my fucking balcony. I'm like, all right.
If you had a pen and paper, you would have drew a map out, right?
Yo, my nigga, you so fucked up that you don't even got time to draw, nigga. You're doing tremenda nota and you're looking around, make sure nobody's looking, right? You're like this, you're like 1, 2, and then you fuck up, so you gotta start the steps again. You're like, fuck. And I remember, though, I had a pool in the back, so I'm like, all right, there's 3 fucking palm trees, the pool. I'm gonna count from this thing, and I'm gonna leave it here. And I remember, bro, I dig 6 times, and I put the can there. I put the dirt around. I make sure it looked nice. I forgot about that shit.
I was gonna ask you, did you remember the next day?
No, I didn't remember.
Yeah.
I didn't remember. I didn't remember because you would be high all night. You go to sleep at 8, 9, 10 in the morning, and you wake up the next day at 7, 8 o'clock at night, and you do it all over again, right? And I remember I'm locked up. I'm in prison. I'm still in central booking. I'm like, they still don't know what camp they're gonna send me to. And I remember I'm laying in my bunk, and I'm like, damn, dog, they took everything. They took the house, they took the cars. And I'm like, oh my God.
The money.
I'm like, my brother, I stashed money that night. But the feds had taken that. They didn't take it from me. They told me if they found out that house was bought with dirty money, which was under my mother's name. Remember this, the FBI are scumbags. Fuck them niggas. The guy goes and looks at me and goes, when we find out that house was bought with dirty money, your mother's gonna be selling arepas.
Oh shit.
In the streets of Colombia.
Oh shit.
And when I'm done with your mother, she's gonna be asking you, chicle, chicle.
Oh.
Never forget this shit, right? And bro.
That's mad, like, disrespect.
Yo, because my mother married my father.
Right.
But my father and her, they were married for so long, but my mother never got her. I don't think they could deport her. They can't deport her, though.
Right.
But at that time, it was like, bro, the house now is worth like almost $4 million, because the house was for sale not that long ago. And I was like, what a redemption story if I go and I buy the house back.
You will. Manifest it.
You know what I mean?
Manifest.
No, when I bought it, dog, it was like $550. Now the house.
Rewind.
Now the fucking.
So it got bought by a cop.
It got bought by. So look at that, bro. My life is a movie, dog. I get out of prison. I don't go back for a while, dog. Like it's been like a year, 2 years.
But you know it's there.
I know the money's there.
Right.
So one night, one night, one night, I go and I tell I tell my mother, Mom, I have money buried, but I'm gonna need help getting it because it's a fence.
Did she believe you?
My mother's like, fuck that. Or you've been eating shit all this fucking time and you got money buried?
Right.
My mom
right.
looking at me like, damn, yo, I know I dropped him when he was a
She
fucking
must have
kid.
said, yo, I thought you was off drugs. What the
Yo,
fuck are you
the
talking
fuck
about?
is going on? And the only reason why I even thought about it, I was like, yo, you know what? Fuck it. Let me go check. I go and I drive by the house and I see a police car in the fucking in the driveway, right? And I'm over here like, nah, man, that has to be. I'm in the wrong neighborhood. I'm like, it can't be. I'm like, I'm talking to God now.
Right.
I'm like, God, cop can't. How could that be a drug dealer's house and they sell it to a cop? There should be a law. Like, you know what I mean? Like, burn the house or but don't sell it to
It's tainted.
don't sell it to a fucking cop, dog. I built that house inside how I wanted it,
It's
dog.
disrespectful.
That's disrespect. That's so fucking wrong to the game,
It's
dog.
like a priest buying a stripper's old house.
Exactly.
Some shit like
You
that.
know what I mean? And I remember it was nighttime. I'm coming in the morning. And I came in the morning, boom, same fucking cop car. And I'm like, bro, if I go jump the fence, they're gonna shoot me in my house because I'm breaking and entering.
Right.
And I can't go and knock on the door. Hey, excuse me, look, this used to be my house. I buried something in the backyard, but I just came to get it. Man, turn the fuck around, cuff up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Mind you, I'm still on that. I think I was still on probation. So I was like, yo, I'm gonna wait to get off probation to go get the money. But then something presented itself where I needed quick money. That's when you know the devil's real. You start getting ideas.
Temptation.
Damn, I can make a few moves, get out the hole. Nigga, like this. If you think my vegan food is good, dog, you should have saw me with the dope, nigga. I did miracles, dog.
The potatoes.
So I remember, bro, I was just like, bro, I'm tired of being in my mom's house. I'm like, what about if the money has holes in it? What about if I can't use the money?
Right.
Did I have small hundreds, the small face hundreds? I'm like,
you're pondering.
Now
sober mind too.
Now I've been sober for years. Now my mind's playing tricks on me. I'm like, what the fuck do you got to lose? Let's say out of the 50,000, 30,000 been eaten by rats. Gotta be at least 20,000. 20,000 I don't have.
Right.
And I remember, bro, I like, it was like robbing a Brinks truck. I drove by the neighborhood. I'm like, all right, the car's not here at 10 in the morning. And I'm like, bro, but I can't come in like I'm thinking like, yo, I could come in like a FPL. Nigga, this was movie shit. I'm like, yo, what? Well, they gotta let me in the backyard if I come for
They made Blue Street, the movie after you. Remember Blue Street?
The one with Martin Lawrence.
He stole the diamond and it's in the police department.
Something like that. So I'm over here thinking I could come as the cable man. Bro, I'm like, yo, but if I come with FPL, that's federal, dog. So I'll go to the feds.
Should have came as a landscaper, nigga. You didn't even think about that.
I didn't think about the landscaper. I'm over here like, I'm thinking, they didn't even have Uber back then. I'm like, I could come like a delivery guy, but they're gonna see me digging. So, bro, one night I said, you know what? Fuck it, dog. Sink or swim, dog. Today, dog, I remember I went to Home Depot and I bought a little shovel, nigga. $19.99, dog. And I said, today, I'm either gonna strike gold or I'm going back to prison.
Right.
It was either one or the other, dog.
But it wasn't drugs. You remember, you pray to God and say, God, it was.
Yeah.
I'm not selling drugs.
I will never sell drugs again.
But this wasn't that.
And you know what's so crazy? I even thought about it. I said, damn, is this going against what I promised? I said, no. I said, I promised I want to sell drugs and I want to do drugs. I never said taking money that is mine. Technically, I'm not doing nothing wrong because it's my money. I'm just going to go get it.
That's why God got you.
And I remember, bro, I go on the mission. I jump the fence. And I started, it was dark. It was like 3-something in the morning. And I remember, I knew that time, 5:45, 6 in the morning is when the sun starts coming up, right? And I remember, I'm like, damn, bro, did the yard get bigger? I'm over here.
No, you're just sober.
I'm looking around, dog, and I'm like, boom. But mind you, there's like 25 holes.
Right.
This shit looks like the Bud Bunny, the cartoons. There's holes everywhere on the grass, and I'm like, yo, if I don't find it when they wake up and look outside and see all these holes, the smart person will say, somebody was looking for something. Let me go dig and find it.
Right.
Now they're gonna find the money, right?
Right.
And I was digging and digging and digging and digging and digging and digging. And I remember, bro, I'm already to the point of exhaustion, dog. I'm already like,
Delirious.
I'm
Fucked up.
delirious. I'm already defeated, dog. I'm already like, fuck it. I'm already thinking like, damn the money. I just want to go home and take a shower, go to sleep. And dog, it's that perseverance, that motivation, the heart of a champion. My brother, I heard the Rocky song. You know what I mean? I'm like, fuck that. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna do three more.
Holes.
I'm gonna dig 3 more times, and if I don't find it,
Fuck it.
that till the sun comes up, I'm like, fuck it, they're gonna have to catch me here. I'm thinking crazy. I do one dig, the light turns on. The, my bathroom in my house in the back, I had a balcony that the bathroom was, it was weird. Like the bathroom's right here. You come out the bathroom, the room is like big as fuck. The bed's over there, but then you have a balcony that if you look out, you can look straight at me and see what the fuck I'm doing, right? And I remember the light turned on as I'm digging. And I remember my reaction. I just looked up. I just felt the light turn on. And I'm like, oh my God, they're up.
Yeah.
Right? So that's when you start thinking like the devil. I'm like, damn, this motherfucker's gonna come out through the balcony. He's a cop.
Shoot you. Not even ask
And
no
shoot
questions.
me. No questions. You see them, they do it all the time. Right? So I'm like, fucking now I'm like, now I'm digging faster. Now you're the adrenaline. The adrenaline kicked in, and I'm going back to the drum like 6 fucking steps. 1, 2. And now I'm starting to down myself. So when I'm going to the left, I'm going to the right, but I'm digging. I remember I swear on everything I love, on the last dig, I'm digging and digging and digging. And I remember when I did the last bing that I felt the metal, that I hit it. It was, I wanna compare that feeling to Tom Brady coming back. Remember when they were down 28 to Atlanta? Remember they were getting their ass beat that Super Bowl, and they came back and beat Atlanta in that Super Bowl?
It's like losing your virginity.
Bro, no, man. It wasn't even that good, dog. This was a feeling, dog. I want to name this dog like Olympic gold championship. It was a feeling, dog, that I was like, wow, I did it. I ain't even got the shit in my hands yet, right?
You hear the stat.
And I hit it, and I'm like, I'm over here trying to grab, because it's in there, dog, dirt. And I'm over here, I'm like, fuck the shovel. Now I'm in there. I'm like, bro, that's it. I know it's here. I heard it. And I hear, hey, what are you doing? But like, loud.
Right, authority.
Racist voice.
Right.
Racist. What are you doing? And I remember that I didn't even look, dog. But behind me, I felt like it was Bigfoot, right?
Right.
I go, and when I grabbed it out, dog, I felt like Barry Sanders, dog. I grabbed it out, I put it here, and I remember, nigga, what you're supposed to do, what I was gonna do is I was find it, grab the shovel, wrap it back up in the little bag I had, put it on top of the fence, climb over, right? Bro, when I tell you, fuck the shovel, I grabbed it and I ran. That wall is at least 7 feet high, maybe a little bit bigger. I jumped over that wall with no hands. If I couldn't do that jump right now for $1 million, again, some of you, I'll give you $1 million. Run over that wall the same way.
No way.
There's no way to do it. It's a once. You know the feeling where people move a car, that there's a kid under a car that got ran over, and this person goes and grabs the car, and they show you lifting a fucking car, and you're like, how did that happen? I think, me personally, I went like this on top of air. And I landed, like I had a football moment. I landed on the floor and I'm like, oh shit. And I couldn't believe that I had just jumped, because, bro, I jumped over the fence. Adrenaline. I didn't grab nothing. No, bro. I remember I ran. I said, in my mind, they're going to shoot me. So I ran and I said, ah. and I jumped the fucking fence and landed on my feet. The car was parked right there. I ran to the car. I threw the can, and I peeled out.
Dirty as fuck.
Nigga, I'm talking about, bro. I look like I had been playing in mud for weeks.
Looked like
dog.
you came out of a grave.
Yo, I remember, dog. The car was all fucked up in the inside with all fucking dirt, all types of shit. I get to the crib, bro. I didn't want to open up the package. To me, man, the cops were coming. The helicopter was looking for me. I'm already caught, right? I'm like, they got the license
GTA
plate.
6 stars.
And I remember I get to the fucking crib, dog, and I open up that can, dog. The sound of the, and I look in there, dog, and it was moist and shit. It was moist, dog, but what I did was, when I wrapped everything out, the money looked perfect. It just had a smell. It had a horrible smell, dog.
Right.
And I just put the money in the washer, and I let the money soak. And when it soaked, I just took it out and I put it all, you know what I mean, to dry it. And when it dried, I even grabbed the iron. I said, man, we're gonna make this, dog. Just gonna make it. And that's it. I have $50,000 to start over.
Did your mom believe you after that?
I didn't even tell my mom when I got the money. I told my mom when I already had the money, like
legit,
like when I already had the money, fucking washed, cleaned already in the rubber band, and I'm like, yo, look. She was like, oh my God. I was like, I told you I wasn't lying. I told you we're good. And no, my mom was like, invest it,
Good.
and I flipped it.
You know the vibes is Litty Willie from Litty Productions. I want to thank everybody that's been supporting us, sharing, liking, commenting, doing all that good stuff. Just to let y'all know, we got Instagram live videos, we got YouTube videos, we got all kinds of different productions. That's why we call ourselves Litty Productions. Make sure y'all hit me up if y'all looking for something at Litty Willie _. Litty Show Productions on Instagram, all that good stuff. Just make sure you hit me up. We out.
It's a Litty show. The Litty show.
You know the fucking vibes, man.
So 50K, you go legit. You got a new start, fresh start. The vegan situation now. You went vegan because of gallbladder issues?
I almost died from my gallbladder, yeah.
What was it? Do you know?
They found 4 stones. Well, nigga, when you're in prison, dog, that prison food will fucking. There's a lot of people that have gotten out of prison that come fucked up. But I don't know, dog. It's not hereditary. I don't know. I have 4 stones in my gallbladder, and I would always get stomach pain. You know what I mean? But
so that was one of the reasons why you went vegan.
I went vegan because the doctor saved my life. The doctor was like, if you want to live, go vegan. And I'm like, yo, I'm thinking about Popeyes right now. What are you talking about? I said, vegan. Right. I said, nigga, I'm leaving here and I'm going straight to Popeyes. I'm getting the biscuit with the rice and the 3-piece. And he said, listen, you don't know. I used to eat a lot of pork, chicharrón.
Right.
A lot of fatty food.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he told me, bro, that shit kills people, bro.
Right.
He goes, just cut out the red meat, the pork, the beef,
chicken, fish.
No, he told me, I want you to go vegan. He told me, when you go home, look at Dr. Sebi.
Shout out to Dr. Sebi, yes.
And when I went, I'm thinking that's the doctor who I got to pay the bill to, right? He said, doctor. I said, oh, man, they trying to play me. But I had Blue Cross and Blue Shield.
Right.
I had a PPO.
Good insurance.
I don't know, no. All I know, a PPO is better than an HMO.
Yeah, right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
And I knew I had a PPO, and I knew I was paying a lot of money for that shit a month. So I said, you know what? Fuck that. Me and the doctor got cool right in the beginning. I guess because I was on morphine. I was hanging out with my brother. I was like, yo, dog, don't let me go out. I got a PPO. This is a PPO, not an OPP. We good.
You were lit.
I was lit. I was like, yo, listen, man. I get cable in the. They had me in a room with cable. I said, damn, dog, this
is tight.
This PPO shit is real.
This was like to have insurance.
Yo, I said, nigga, I'm used to being in the ER for hours. And after the surgery, he showed me, look, I got the scars and shit all over my fucking stomach, dog. They cut me up good. They cut me up like 5-6 times. Wow. And the doctor showed me the jar. What really changed me, dog, was the jar. And I saw the 4 fucking.
So they were big.
They looked like $50.
Holy shit.
And when I looked at that shit, I was like, this was inside of your stomach. He goes, do you believe in God? I said, yeah, I believe in God. Why? He goes, because if that would have exploded inside of you, the only person that could save you is God. because you would have internally bled out. I wouldn't have been able to do shit for you.
Oh shit.
And when he told me that shit knocked the morphine out of me. I was like, what? So I'm like, look, I have kids. I don't want to die. What could I do? You know, and he was like, well, I've been a doctor 30 years. I've been vegan 15 years. I said, vegan? I thought vegan before was like vegetables and fruits.
So it's boring.
Yeah, salads and shit. I was like, what, salads? I said, ooh. I said, nah, hold on. I said, doc, listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm going to Popeyes as soon as I leave this room. I said, and he said, nah, bro. He said, you need to eat right, eat healthy. He goes, you could have died. This shit is real.
All right.
And he told me, look, at your age, he goes, you could have had something really happen. That shit would have fucking erupted in you. And that shit, I started a transformation. You know what I mean? With the gallbladder, dog, it's like I can't lose weight for nothing. Because the gallbladder is the filter to the body.
Right.
And I used to think I had acid reflux because I love spicy food. I just can't eat it because of my gallbladder. But I would eat Tabasco sauce with everything.
Right.
And that's what the acid
fucked it up more.
Well, I would get pain. They compare the pain to a woman having contractions.
Yeah, they say about kidney stones. I've been through it twice already.
No, but kidney stones is nothing compared
to that. No.
Like, I've been shot, I've been stabbed, I've been knocked out. When that shit would hit you, like the pain, you'll be like, oh, it's like a pain that you're like,
you can't deal with it.
When you get shot, you can move, but it burns. When you get stabbed, it itches, but you're bleeding. The shit with the stones, you're just
unbearable.
You're in a position, and if you move a little up, it's gonna hurt more. That's why, bro, women, bro, for 9 months, and the labor, and bro, women is real though. Women take pain.
So you start the restaurant up. Restaurants popping. Restaurants going. Celebrities coming by. Multiple celebrities.
Yeah.
Name some of the people.
Oof. Lenny Kravitz, Farruko, Nicky Jam, Madonna, Drake, Rick Ross, Jim Jones.
How do you get these people? Is it just word of mouth, or how does celebrities say I want to go to this spot?
Well, it all started. I have a lot of friends in the music industry. I'm cool with a lot of people.
Okay.
That are somebodies, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But when I opened up the first vegan spot, I'm like, how can I make this different than everybody else? Right. Because I don't want to say no names, but I've been to vegan spots that it's like the grass on the wall and the French wall, and it sounds like you're in an elevator, and I didn't want that.
Right.
I'm not doing it for that. If you know me, you know I'm a little rough around the edges.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm hip hop. I'm
urban.
I'm New York. I'm the hip hop is real. I come from the era of the graffiti, the breakdancing. I'm hip hop. You know what I mean? So I didn't give a fuck about people liking it because of what it stands for. I did it for us. Now I do it for the cause of, if I can make one vegan a day, then I'm doing my job.
Right.
You know what I mean? It just so happens. Shout out to Nori and Drink Champs. Nori blessed me and started just promoting me because I know Nori for a long time. I know Nori over 20-some years. I know him from New York. I know Nori personal before the music industry. And Nori's a real humble dude. When Drink Champs took off, he put me on there. Then when Nori put me on, there's a big time director called Shula the Don.
Yeah.
Shula, that's my brother. Shula opened a lot of doors for me. You know, I'm grateful to Shula. I'm grateful to Nori. They put me in a position to win. DJ Got Now. He's on the hottest radio station on 92.7. So I started all of these people that are in all these high places, like Shula being a director, Got Now being the hottest DJ in Miami, Nori having the hottest podcast. Real niggas that that these are all day ones.
Right.
And they put me in a position to win. So I pay homage and respect that they put me in a position to win.
Shout out to Nori. Shout out to EFN, Crazy Hood Productions. Like,
yeah, EFN's my brother too. Yo, shout out to EFN. EFN did a lot for me too, you know.
EFN
I
gave
can't
me
forget about EFN.
when I was first starting my podcast around 6 years ago. Um, I was just shooting out of a studio, and now I just tagged them. I'm like, yo, I want to do an interview. Like, Drink Champs is one of my like,
Right,
you know what I'm saying, one of my reasons for podcasting.
right.
And I was like, yo, I just want to interview. He came through like nothing, bro. Like, not a person being nowhere from knowing anybody.
Look, I know EFN when he had Pitbull. I know him from the Pitbull era when he had the store, and this EFN's just a solid real
Yeah,
nigga.
for
Him,
sure.
Boris,
Real
you know,
date. Yeah, shout out to Boris.
Boris. A lot of people, dog. You know, Mr. De Pinga
Yeah, Nick Garcia.
and Nick Garcia.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of the Miami people.
Shout out to Paul from Sports Drinks Chance, the whole team, the whole
Dog,
Crazy Hope
the
production.
whole squad, man. It's
Yeah.
just Miami, the real niggas, man. You know what I mean?
Facts.
That put me in a position, you know. Drink Champs, EFN, Boris, you know, Shula the Dawn, even Mr. Lee, man, from Drink Champs.
Oh, shout out to Mr. Lee. I was just talking to him on Instagram.
You know,
Yeah,
Sonny D.
Sonny D. I mean, that's what I meant. Sonny D.
Sonny D. It's
Not
man,
Mr.
you know, and
Lee,
I could
Sonny.
call any of
Sonny,
these
sorry.
people,
Shout out to them.
and they'll pick up on the first ring, man, and they did a lot for me, man, and it just took off.
Dope. So, I want to talk about a bad reason you were in the news and a good reason you were in the news. So, bad reason you were in the news is that you ended up getting assaulted by somebody with a bat for I'm not sure what reasons. So this is what I'm gonna ask you today. Ended up on the news and everything. What happened with that? And I'm talking on it because it made the news.
Yeah. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
I'm gonna say this with all due respect, my brother. I'm gonna keep it real, dog.
Uh-huh.
I got caught slipping.
Okay.
But it was an eye for an eye.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So what happens in the street stays in the street. I was in the hospital for 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But let's just say I wasn't the only one. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna leave it at that.
Listen to many men, you'll know the answer.
You know,
50 Cent.
Exactly. It's just, you know, the person that did it knows why they did it. And I just feel, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, dog, that shit humbled me.
Right.
As you see, I don't have no jewelry on.
Right.
They didn't take no jewelry that day.
Right.
They didn't take my chunk. They didn't take my bracelet, my watch. They didn't take nothing. But when you're walking around with $200,000 worth of jewelry, right? And you have somebody that don't got a job, got kids at home.
Right.
The wife is talking about, damn, you don't got unemployment, you don't got a job, and you're walking around with something that can make their Christmas better. You're walking lit.
Of course.
But that wasn't the situation. Why? You know what I mean? There wasn't none of that.
So they didn't take nothing. It's
They
personal.
didn't take nothing. They didn't take nothing but an ass whooping. You know what I mean? and I just feel that it humbled me because I didn't think that shit could happen to me because I'm so well plugged.
Right.
I know everybody that's a somebody.
Right.
Let's be real. But I cracked the case. The cops didn't even find nothing. It's like Miami's so fucked up that the cops didn't know nothing. You know what I mean?
You think they even gave a fuck?
I didn't give a fuck, bro. I remember there was another incident after that. After the incident that shit happened, that let's just say it was a misunderstanding, but we got understandings. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
There was a misunderstanding we got misunderstandings that got real understanding. I get into another problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a cop shows up and tells me, "Oh, we need camera footage," and I'm like, "Oh, the cameras don't work." The cop said, "It work when you get your ass beat in the parking lot." You remember that day, babe? And I remember I looked, hey, the cop said, he goes, "You sure the cameras are not working?" I said, "Nope, they're not working. The server's broken."
Right.
He goes, "Yeah, but they were working that day. You got your ass beat." And I was like, "Yo."
I would have said, "Lucky for me, but unlucky for you today, motherfucker."
I was like, "Damn, the hate is real." He goes, "Yeah, you wasn't talking that shit when you got fucked up." But bro, let's just say, dog, I'm gonna leave it at this, bro.
Humbly.
Yeah, we both went to the hospital.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Now the good reason why he ended up on the news is they did a story on you for hiring
Convicted felons.
You know, convicted felons and things
Fuck
like
that
that.
shit. I'm not hiring them no more.
You're not hiring them no more.
Fuck them.
But no, honestly, with all jokes aside, I want to tell you thank you for that because my stepdad was locked up for a while.
Shit.
And 15 years, and he
Wow.
he gave me the mean, he's one of those hard. You know, that's what I say. You remind me of you a lot because he's a very hard worker. You know, it's
Right.
just a situation he got fucked up in.
He got it with the wrong place at the wrong time.
Right, and he when I first met him, he really had a gripe on that, like not being able to get a job nowhere, and
Right.
you know nobody, and you know we did talk about it outside, and it's
Right.
like you know not everybody is that one person.
Right.
Unfortunately, you know,
Now, all jokes aside, you know that I can't even get a job at McDonald's.
because of your
My record.
record.
My record's so fucked up. I try to get a job when I threw the dope. Bro, I tried to get a job everywhere, bro. And I remember they would give me the job, and like when the background would come, you were
Gotta
here.
go.
Mr. Alex, can you please come to the front? And I'm pretending I don't hear the shit. I'm like, nah, fuck that. There gotta be another Alex here. Excuse me. I'm like, fuck. I just worked here just enough to get a paycheck, right?
Right.
And there's a lot of some of the smartest people, dog, are in prison. Believe it or not.
Oh, I believe it.
There's
I know
some
it.
people, dog. I met some real smart people in prison that they're never gonna be able to see daylight again, right? And they're in prison for one. Remember, we're one bad mistake from going to prison.
All of us, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. 50 seconds will get you 50 years. You know what I mean? And I met some real geniuses in prison. But there's a lot of people, like, I've given shots to people, bro, because there was one person that gave me a shot.
Right.
Because I talked to him from the heart.
Right. Right.
And I told him, listen, they weren't even hiring, dog, but I talked to him so real from the heart that I said, listen, I'm not a bad person. I want to go back to prison. Give me a shot. Give me a job. And it was holding a sign.
Mm.
Holding it as a sign holder, dog.
I think it was fighting for that alone.
And the irony of life, thought it was a mattress store. And like 3 years later, I went and I opened up a mattress store on my own. So it's just the gift and the curse.
Right. Right.
There's people that I'm like, yo, look, if you want a job, I'll hire you to hold the sign. They're like, oh no, I can't do that. Bro, man, I was holding the sign, dog.
That's why you. Yeah. That's
Getting
why.
paid $8 an hour. Look,
Right,
my
right.
girl, remember, used to pick me up and drop me off. And at that time, my girl was making big money. You know what I mean? And I was making $8 an hour, and it was the middle of summer, dog. I got out, it was hot as fuck.
My brother did it for a tax company wearing an Uncle Sam outfit. So
That nigga,
I
dog.
know.
Hey, listen, but when you go from having everything to holding a fucking sign,
It's belittling.
it's belittling. But if you
belittling.
could be in prison working for 10 good days behavior, working for these crackers for free, I was just working just to not go back.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
Because I knew it was a fact that all I had to do was make a phone call and I could get dope
You were good.
and go to the strip club and flip, and
Right.
you know what I mean? But to me, it was, I'd rather make 300. I was making $300 a week, dog. And these employees nowadays, they want $18 an hour.
Right.
I'm like, dog. I remember it's so humbling to me, dog, because I remember I was holding the sign and I said, well, at least I'm free. At least
I can
don't-
see traffic passing by
you
with
know what I
this
mean?
sign.
I remember, dog, in prison, dog, you would see the cars leaving. And you're like, damn, dog, still got 2 more years. Every time my girl, my mom, and everybody come to visit, I'm like, damn, dog, like, I just want to be out there in a park bench,
Right.
just looking at the birds
Right.
and the trees. You know what I mean?
Another beautiful thing that you did was buying your daughter a business at 10 years old.
Yeah, man. It's that my daughter's different, dog. My daughter's been here before.
Right.
My daughter's, I want to say reincarnated. I don't know, dog. My daughter, not just because every parent sees something different in their kids, right?
Mhm.
But my daughter, she doesn't like to play with Barbies. She wants to learn about stocks and Jeff Bezos, and she's the one that wanted me to open it for her. So I've never wanted to be that dad that I'm gonna crush your dreams.
Right. Support it.
I'd rather, if you fail, I'm gonna fail with you.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Whether you're right or wrong, I got your back.
Mhm.
And I didn't think that flowers was a business with chocolate that was gonna make money. But my daughter manipulated me to opening up a business. I was like, yo, baby, you're good. You don't need a business. Daddy works hard. She goes, well, Dad, if you open me a business, I'm never gonna need a man. And
Boom,
yo,
right now.
I remember call the lawyer, Shuri, and I'm like, yo, I need to open up a LLC.
Oh yeah,
He's like,
that would have sold me right
yo,
there.
hey, she got me,
She
yo,
got you.
and then I'm laying in bed and I'm like, yo, she just manipulated me.
Hustled you.
My attorney at the time was like, you know she played you, right? I said, but it worked.
Work.
It worked.
Let it be. Let it
She
be.
goes, Dad, because by the age I'm 18, I'll never need a man, Dad. I'll be independent. I'm like, baby, I don't give a fuck if you have 100 stores or if you have one. I said, I got you. And she, with Tyreek Hill, I remember Tyreek Hill came over to my house and she played him so good. She's like, hey, I know you have a bunch of kids. And she came with the flowers. She's like, look, let's go on your Instagram. And Tyreek put her, she's like, so she's cute.
Right.
And bro, she went viral. She did it with Tyreek. She did it with Xavier Howard. She did it with Cardi B. She went viral with Cardi B.
Wow.
Because she was like, hey, that's when Cardi B had the I like it like that.
Right.
And she was like, well, you like these flowers like that, right, Cardi? And Cardi was like, yo, I fucks with her out. Like, she's different.
Yeah.
And he was like, look, I'm going to give you the flowers, but I need you to promote for me. And Cardi did some real nigga shit. Cardi gave her $500.
Wow.
And because it was like kind of to lift her spirit, motivate her.
Yeah.
And Cardi was like, never give the game, even if it's free. He goes, don't give nothing away for free. And this is that. And she was like, it was like when Cardi put her on her social media, on her Instagram, on her TikTok, and my daughter went by. I remember that we had to hire employees to keep up with the orders.
Oh shit.
We had to hire 5 people. It was right before Valentine's, and I remember I was like, yo, Cardi different, bro. She just put her on for like 2 minutes, and we're getting fucking hundreds and hundreds of dollars in orders. And yeah, you know, I think that that's the thing that my father always told me, dog, I could do anything, dog. And bro, I wanted to play soccer when I was a kid. I was a hell of a soccer player, believe it or not. I was a real good soccer player. So my daughter, I think she's a girl version of me. I think she's a problem.
She's there.
She's a problem, dog. My daughter's a problem.
What was your hardest obstacle in life, and how did you overcome it?
My hardest obstacle. I've learned, and it's crazy to say now, I've learned being a man is learning to forgive certain people for certain things.
Respect.
That a few years ago, if you try me as an owner, I react like an owner.
Right.
But if you try me like a man, I react like a man.
Right.
And now I've been tested for certain situations. And I sit here and I look in the mirror and I'm like, yo, are you losing it, dog? Are you not that lion? But I'm like, the pen's stronger than the sword.
That's a fact.
Sometimes hurting somebody physically is not as bad as hurting them mentally.
That's a fact.
Because physically they'll get cured. Eventually the ass whooping will go away.
Mentally and emotionally, that shit sticks.
Yeah. and when you kill people with success, it's the best revenge, dog.
Yeah.
To just throw it in people's
Hell
face.
Yeah.
So I think and sometimes, you know, my girl, she kind of, you know, yo, chill, because sometimes we're human. You know, sometimes.
But I think we need that. That's what makes a real woman.
Yeah, like, but you gotta understand that I'm old school, bro. So I'm like, man, you know what I'm
It's gonna
saying?
take a little, but that's why she's still with you.
Exactly. But I think that I catch myself and I'm like, nah, but sometimes you gotta help karma because God's busy and you gotta speed it up. You gotta, you know, God. A lot of people are praying to God.
Right.
You know, sometimes you gotta just
At
skip
least
the line.
Help karma.
You know, you
I
gotta
like that one.
gotta
Bro.
speed it up. You know, but that's something that I've learned and I'm having issues with.
Right, but you're working on it.
But I'm working on it.
All right, respect.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's real.
I give love when love is. You know, you need. If you can admit that you have a problem and you're working on it, I think there's nothing more beautiful in that, especially coming from a man. Because as a man, it is so hard to admit when
Yeah.
we're wrong, and it's even harder to work to fix our wrong. So when I hear that, I want to salute you as like a man to man, because
Yeah,
I've been doing it for the past 5 years. If you could tell 15-year-old Alex one thing right now, what would you tell him?
fuck friends.
Fuck friends all the way. If you could, if you had the chance to change one thing in this world, what would it be?
If I could change one thing,
One thing in this world.
the way we spend millions of dollars on war, but we got so many homeless people
Hmm.
in the street. I would deal with that. I would hit home. You know what I mean?
If you had a chance to collab with somebody doing business, one dead, one alive, who would they be?
Alive and dead.
Yeah. So you could do business with anybody right now. One dead, one alive. Who would they be?
And these are some good questions, nigga. You did your homework. if if I could do, I would want to say Steve Jobs,
Dead,
dead.
and alive?
Jeff Bezos.
Okay, okay. Videos are documented and they last forever. Remember that. This podcast, this episode, this will last forever. I
Mhm.
did an interview with my grandmother and my great grandmother because they're both still alive, and I wanted to pass a message on to my kids and their kids. So, what would you tell your 18-year-old daughter watching this when she sees this later on in life?
What would I tell my daughter?
A message to give your daughter when she's 18. She's gonna watch this when she's 18. What would you tell
Man, ain't shit.
her?
Nah,
Still.
still. No. What I would tell my daughter:
Mhm.
hard work pays off more than talent.
There you go.
Um, I tell my daughter all the time that out of 10 times you could be wrong 9. You only have to be right 1 time to make it.
It's a fact.
And when you love something, it's not work. It's not work. And I think that, not for nothing though, but I think that my daughter, she's here for a reason. I think she's gonna do something real big, bro.
Mhm.
I think the way she talks, the way she maneuvers. Sometimes she says shit to me that I look at her and I'm like, all the shit that I did is gonna come back with my daughter
Yeah,
because she's just so spunky and so, you know what I mean,
advanced.
advanced and so real
Yeah,
and
yeah,
shot
yeah, yeah,
out,
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm like,
What the fuck?
yeah, but yeah, man, definitely.
If you could pick 3 people to be on this platform after me interviewing you and doing my homework and going through his whole experience, who would you prefer or who would you want to see on this show? 3.
Yo, my brother Zombo, the BKFC fighter.
Okay.
Um, Zombo's been through a lot of pain though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one.
Um, like celebrity, anybody?
Be anybody. A story. Anybody that has a story, any celebrity, somebody that you want to see and hear their story and feel like people will need to hear that story. Or just one of your favorite celebrities that you can put on the show too.
Um, another celebrity, Jay-Z. I don't think Jay-Z's ever done a podcast.
That's one of my. So when people ask me, top dead or alive, I always tell people, Big Pun I Would Love, that's my favorite
Right.
rapper, dead or alive, and then I say French Montana, but I will interview Jay Z just so I can interview Jay Z to get to French Montana because we need a Jay Z interview from the lower tier. We don't have
Right.
no.
French.
Shout out to
Well,
French.
shout out to French. Good nigga. I think French will do it, dog. I'm cool with French. I can make that happen.
We got one more.
Dead or alive or just alive?
Alive, somebody, and it doesn't even have to be a celebrity. Somebody that you think that their story needs to be heard.
Bro, there's so many people that I believe, like, another one that has a real good story that a lot of people don't know. I know it because he's my dog. El Gallo Durant.
Shout out to
Another
him.
El Gallo has a. See, these are I'm naming you people that come from struggle, dog,
Right, right.
and they're somewhere. Like, I know shit about Gallo, street stories that a lot of people don't know, but I know a certified story. These ain't somebody that, not that Gallo told me. No, I heard it from other niggas in the street. And Gallo being my dog, he's a dude that he's at where he's at right now because of his redemption story. He deserves to be where he's at.
Right.
You know, Zombo right now, Bro, Zambo had to fight in the border for them to let him go through.
Right.
You know what it is that you're with your family and they tell you if you lose, you got to go back. But if
Yeah,
you
yeah.
win,
No,
we'll bring you in the country.
that's one hell of a story we need to hear.
Yo, Zambo, and when Zambo told me the story, I said, "What, you fought to get into America?" He said, "Yeah, and I had to win
Right.
because if not," and he fought a guy twice the size. So it's stories like that, man. You know what? Well, I like to watch stories where bad people get away at the end. I don't know if I'm weird, like like these robbery stories, the bank stories. I watch it because I want the guy to sell away at the end. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Right.
I don't like the people that get caught.
Right. Right.
You
Right.
know what I
Right.
mean? That's just me.
Where can the people find you and on the run vegan? Talk to me.
So
Let's do
we
some
have
promotion right now.
all
Talk
right.
it.
On the Run Vegan is the best vegan spot ever to touch Miami or anywhere. We have a spot in Wynwood. We have a spot in Kendall. The Wynwood spot is legendary.
Okay.
We got the best burgers. We won best vegan burger 3 years in a row. We're known for the Philly cheesesteak, the burgers, the quesadillas. It's just our food. We make it ourselves to trick the mind.
Right.
So we make our bread, we make our meat, we make everything in house.
And I see now y'all got shrimp, right?
We got shrimp, we got chicken wings that look, bro. Rick Ross is eating my chicken wings, and he's like, bro, these are fucking vegan, and I'm like, yo, we need to do something.
Right.
You know what I mean? But we just, people eat with their eyes.
Right.
So when you see something and it looks like it's a real chicken wing, but it's not,
They
it's
eat
di-
it.
yeah.
You know what I want to try that's vegan that so I did vegan for 30 days and I did it. It was fine.
Right.
The only thing I bitched about was the cost of it because it wasn't cheap.
It's expensive because it's oh, there's the thing, dog.
There's no chemicals in
There's
it.
no chemicals in
Yeah.
it. It's different, dog. Like when you eat organic steak and normal steak, people are like, oh well, what's the difference? Why does this steak $9 more? It's because the grass that the cow's eating doesn't have GMO, doesn't have this.
Pesticides, this,
But if
that.
you really look at it, you're still eating steak. It's
Right.
just this cow's from Coral Gables and this one's from Hialeah.
Right.
You're still eating a
Meat,
cow.
Right.
Meat is meat, dog. So if you want to pay them extra $9, it's the same thing, right? Vegan food is, look, bro, it's like a car. If you don't get an oil change, what happens? It breaks down.
Right. Correct.
Right? I don't know about you, dog, but now when I drink, it takes me like 3 days to recoup,
Oh,
nigga.
yeah. Listen.
It's not the same, dog. I remember I used to party and go straight to work, no sleep, drink a little coffee, put water on your face, and go do 8-hour shift. I party now. I need 1 day to sleep to recoup, 1 day for soup, and maybe another day to recoup.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
And another day for getting in trouble.
yeah. Nah, man, I don't go nowhere without my chick,
fucking
man.
with
Man,
you, I'm
ain't nothing but
fucking
the
with you.
devil out
I'm
there.
fucking with- Yo, so back to it. I want to try lion's mane mushroom.
Well, see, I can't tell you too
No,
much.
give
But
me, yeah.
but that's one of the main mushrooms that we use.
I've heard like steak wise, it's amazing.
Yeah, so what we do is we season everything 48 hours. When I would have barbecues, right, we would season from Friday and have the barbecue on Sunday. The meat will be tender. Everything will taste better, right?
Right.
So if you do the same thing with vegan food, imagine.
Yeah.
It's the same shit, right? The thing is that our foods don't have calories. Only thing that has calories is the French fries.
Right.
But if you eat a big ass burger that looks like a Five Guys triple burger with bacon, bread, and everything, but it's like eating a salad, but it doesn't look like a salad because the bread is it's not real bread, it's not real meat, it's not real.
So even the oil you're frying in,
It's grapeseed oil.
Oh, okay.
So the best two oils, it's either olive oil, no, avocado oil or grapeseed oil. I say that because I was watching this thing about the olive oil that if you drink a teaspoon of olive oil a day, it helps you clean out. So it's just, for example, bro. Look, I'm chunky, dog, and I'm vegan, but I eat a lot of pasta. You know what I mean? Just because you're vegan doesn't mean that you have to be skinny or work out or athletic. It's like everything. Vegans are all shapes, all colors, all sizes. It's just like, for example, I was suffering from my gallbladder, but I used to eat chicharrón all the time. The what do you call the flauta?
Oh yes.
The flauta sandwich, bro. I used to fucking go to Palacio de los Jugos to eat that shit all the time, almost 3-4 times a week. So with everything in life, when you do too much, too fast, moderation, you abuse it. So we're getting older, bro. and it's just what you're putting in your body. If you eat right in America, right? Not even America, Miami. If you go to the gym, you don't have time to eat right because
Correct.
you don't have time to prep and do this. So it's either you eat right or you work out. But in Miami, if you eat right, you go to the gym, it's out of 10 people, only 3 could do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So what about the other 7?
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's just, at least if you're defeating one of the purposes, you're eating healthy and you're tricking your mind, bro. When we go out to a restaurant, I could tell if they put my food on a grill that
has
there's been a
been
steak on it.
right.
You know why? Because my stomach right away, like my girl's always like, "Oh, you're just saying that." I'm like, "No, my body tells me." I know if they cook with canola oil.
100%.
Canola oil was designed to be motor oil.
No, 100%.
It just failed, and they couldn't use it for motor. So they said, "We invented something great. What could we use it for? Cook with it."
Right.
That shit kills you, bro. That canola oil, and it's the cheapest.
Right.
Now, we spend about $120 a day in oil to cook at our spots, but you don't feel bloated, you don't feel sluggish, your stomach doesn't hurt, you don't feel like you have to use the
You're
bathroom.
good to go.
Yeah.
You're good to go. Um, on the Run Vegan. Make sure y'all go check him out. Make
On the
sure
Run
you
Vegan,
follow.
man.
This
Instagram.
man came straight out the truck with the uniform still on,
Smelling like a double patty.
like, but he's still fresh. He still got the Oregon duck
Yeah, you
five
know what
star
I'm saying?
matching it.
Shoe game on top.
Alex, I want to thank you for coming through today. I really want to, praise you and tell you that your story is amazing. We talked about this. I'm not even talking shit on this camera. We've been talking on the phone. We've been texting, and I told you that I was gonna do my homework and really read on you, your story. Um, it's inspiring. It's really inspiring because, like you said, it went up down, it went up down. You had it, it got taken from you. You had it, you lost it. You went from steak and eggs to rice and eggs. You went from Ferrari to Honda.
Yeah.
You went from Jordan to chanclas. You went from
All that.
shit food to vegan food. So
Yeah.
your story and you doing better today is really, really inspiring. So I want to, thank you for coming through. Thank you for giving me the time.
Oh man, it's all love, man. Listen, bro.
I'm bringing the kids to the vegan spot. When I come back, I'm leaving up north right now, but as soon as I come back,
let me
you
know,
got my
man.
word. I'm gonna come with the kids.
I got you, my
I'm
brother.
gonna trick my son.
Don't even tell him.
I'm not gonna tell him shit. I'm not gonna tell him shit, even though he knows how to read. So you're gonna see vegan, and I'm gonna be like, nah, he's gonna give me the secret menu. He's still got meat on it. So I'm gonna talk shit. But yo, keep grinding, keep doing your thing. I want to have this part 2 with you when you have the vegan restaurant. Because you got the trucks. I know you're gonna have that restaurant soon. So
coming soon,
thank you so much for your time.
Hey, man, I appreciate you, man. Hey man, anybody help Will, man, blow this podcast up, man. I feel, man, that it's your turn, dog. I've been watching.
We're gonna do it.
For real.
You know the fucking vibes. My name is Litty Willie. This is Alex Montanez. He sells potatoes, and we out.